Chapter 566. Chapter 566. Making a deal. Yaro sis, shield bro is so awesome. Zhong Pingliang's kidney was cut off. Yushu didn't expect Lin Yi to be so ruthless as to cut off one of Zhong Pingliang's kidneys. He didn't do it, did he? He wouldn't do such a thing, would he? Meng Yaro was confused. After all, it was too cruel. She subconsciously thought that Lin Yi wasn't such a cruel person. Hee. Who cares? Zhong Pingliang is done for. He won't harass Yaro sis anymore. Yushu didn't mind. From her point of view, Lin Yi should be more aggressive towards his enemies in order to chase them away. Not necessarily. I heard that losing a kidney doesn't kill him, right? Meng Yaro frowned. I don't know about that. But I saw on the internet that losing a kidney means you can't have sex. I wonder if it's true. Yushu blinked and smiled evilly. Shu, don't say such dirty words. Meng Yao's face turned red as she lectured. No, I'm just saying the truth. I didn't say it, it's from the internet. Yushu felt wronged. Anyway, don't say it again. Girls who are so dirty won't be able to get married, Meng Yaro said sternly. Oh, Yaro sis will take care of it. Buy one get one free. People will buy it even if it's dirty. Yushu didn't care. Didn't they say that all men like perverted girls? Meng Yaro ignored her. Zhong Pingliang is out of danger now. He's receiving treatment at the hospital. I want to organize a group of students to visit Zhong Pingliang in the hospital. Everyone is free to participate. Those who don't want to go can study in the classroom, Ms. Liu continued. I've already arranged for a bus. It'll be here soon. Those who want to go, prepare to go downstairs with me now. Zhong Pingliang wasn't very popular. He was one of the bad students in the class. Many serious students didn't even spare him a glance. However, Zhong Pingliang had organized a trip to the beach last time. This made him a lot more popular. Everyone was indebted to him. Now that he was in trouble, they couldn't miss him. Therefore, everyone put down the books in their hands and got up to go downstairs. After Fabai left, Cihua pondered for a bit before calling Jianwen. Masterin, do you know Fabai? Cihua asked. Zhong Fabai. I don't know you, mahjong players. Jianwen had just gotten rid of his love rival and was celebrating in the hotel. No, he's someone with some power in Songshan. His son's called Zhong Pingliang. Cihua said. Zhong Pingliang? Jianwen interrupted Cihua before he could finish. Cihua bro, you're not here to scold me, are you? But I can tell you that I was the one who cut off Pinliang's kidney. Jianwen's tone made Cihua pause. It seemed like Pinliang and Jianwen had quite a deep grudge. Young Masterin, that's not what I mean. Cihua, naturally, didn't want to offend Jianwen. Masterin, but this Zhong Fabai came to me just now, asking for an explanation for his son. Oh, then what do you mean, Cihua bro? Jianwen asked faintly. I don't mind, but this Zhong Fabai is working for Master Bing now, so Master Bing has to ask about this. Cihua was in a difficult position. He didn't want to offend Jianwen. After all, Haosen was backed by the firewolves. But he had to give an explanation for Fabai's situation. Oh, then let Master Bing come to me. I've been wanting to meet Master Bing anyway. Jianwen said nonchalantly. So be it. Even if it was Master Bing's dog, he would still do it. What else could he do? Would Master Bing become enemies with Haosen because of this? After all, the firewolves weren't any weaker than the family of the person behind Master Bing. It was hard to say who would win if they really went against each other. Masterin, you've misunderstood. Cihua was depressed. What was going on? He didn't know what Pinliang did to piss Jianwen off, but he had to act as a mediator. But it wasn't easy to mediate. He and Jianwen were working well together, and there was no need to ruin their relationship because of Pinliang. He could only ask, Masterin, what kind of grudge do you have with Pinliang? Why did you have to do this? I'm not afraid to tell you. Jianwen didn't plan to hide it from Cihua. He told Cihua about the recording he heard from Lin Yi. He kidnapped my childhood sweetheart, how could I let him go? That's true. This Zhong Pinliang has gone too far. Cihua sighed. If what Zhenwen said was true, then it wouldn't be too much to teach Pinliang a lesson. But now that the conflict had started, it wouldn't be easy to mediate. We need to give Zhong Febai an explanation. Why don't we just hand Lin Yi over? This kid is obviously trying to provoke you and use you to get rid of Pinliang, his Mengyao's bodyguard. Naturally, he wouldn't allow a bomb like Pinliang to be around Mengyao. I know, but Lin Yi is my informant. It's not good to hand him over like this, is it? Zhenwen said faintly. I'll give you another 10% of our business. Can you give Zhong Febai an explanation? Zihua gritted his teeth. This Zhong Febai really was useful right now. He couldn't ignore him for now. Zihua had no choice but to come up with this plan. Deal. Let Zhong Febai call me. Zhenwen laughed in his heart. What did Lin Yi's death have to do with him? He was just messing with Zihua a little. After knowing that Lin Yi was just a bodyguard, Zhenwen didn't really put Lin Yi in his eyes anymore. He just wanted to use him to get some information about Mengyao. Not long after, Febai's call came. He asked directly, Master N, how did my son offend you? Why did you do this? It seemed that Zihua didn't say much. He only told Febai that it was Zhenwen who did it. As for the specifics, he would ask Febai himself. Febai, naturally, had heard of Zhenwen's name. He used to be one of Songshan's 4 young masters, and was now the leader of House and in Songshan. He had the firewolves behind him. So Febai didn't make a fuss. He held back his anger and asked Zhenwen why he did it. Zhenwen had already made a deal with Zihua. He wasn't impatient at all. He told him the reason why he did it. What kind of person was Zhenwen? One of Songshan's 4 young masters. How famous was he? His name was even more famous than Febai's. Chapter 567. How to deal with him. Febai didn't have anything else he could do. He didn't dare to offend Zhenwen. He was someone who was on par with Master Bing, and he had the support of the firewolves. Who would dare to offend him? Although Febai dared to call himself one of the big bosses of Songshan City's underworld, he was just a small fry compared to the firewolf gang. It was Lin Yi who instigated me to do this. Lin Yi is Mengyao's bodyguard. In the end, Zhenwen pushed the blame to Lin Yi for Zihua's sake and told Febai to take revenge on Lin Yi. Febai now had a way out. He didn't dare to go against Zhenwen, but against a small bodyguard, wasn't it a piece of cake? With that in mind, Febai didn't dwell on Zhenwen's actions anymore. Master N, my son's actions are indeed offensive, but can you please return the kidney to my son for the sake of Master Bing and Zihua bro? Febai asked. Return the kidney? Zhenwen smiled coldly. How was that possible? The kidney had been sent abroad to find a recipient. Why would it be returned to him? I'm sorry, Mr. Zhong. I was so angry that I fed your son's kidney to the dogs. I'm really sorry. Zhenwen naturally wouldn't reveal the kidney company behind him. Febai froze, but he didn't suspect anything. If it was him, he wouldn't keep his enemy's kidney and put it back, right? Febai could only accept his bad luck. He wouldn't die from losing a kidney anyway. It was better to find a way to take revenge on Lin Yi. Although he wanted to kill Zhenwen to vent his anger, he was no match for him. After hanging up the phone, Febai told his son the truth. His son was the victim, so he had the right to know. On one hand, Febai wanted to warn his son not to do anything reckless. He needed to think about the consequences before doing anything. He only had 1 kidney left. That's what happened. Zhenwen did it, but he said that it was Lin Yi who told him. Febai said gloomily. Who is Zhenwen? Yes, I vaguely heard someone call him young Master Wen. Pinliang had woken up by now. Losing a kidney was serious, but it wouldn't affect his life. Zhenwen used to be one of the 4 young masters of Songshan, and Yushu's brother, Chen Yutian, is the leader of the 4 young masters. Febai sighed, none of them can be underestimated. It's not that I'm belittling myself, but compared to them, I'm still far behind. This time, Yushu's brother didn't cause you any trouble. Otherwise, you might have lost your other kidney. He had to scare his son. Otherwise, who knew what kind of trouble this kid would cause? Zhong Pingliang's face changed instantly, and he started to feel scared. He remembered what happened to Wu Xiaocan. Chen Yutian broke both of Wu Xiaocan's legs. Son, we can only endure this hatred for now. Fabai said, we're no match for Jian Wen. He has the firewolves behind him. Even Master Bing has to give him face. We can only take this lying down. Dad, I understand. I won't use force, but I'll remember this. Pin Liang gritted his teeth, and a sinister look flashed across his eyes. The day Naipao returns from his training will be the day of Jian Wen's death. Yes, a little impatience will spoil a great plan. We must endure it. Fabai nodded. Right, Dad, you said that Lin Yi gave you the information? How does Lin Yi know Jian Wen? Why would he do that? Pin Liang suddenly remembered what his father said about Lin Yi. This kid is Meng Yao's bodyguard. Fabai said, he's the one who told Jian Wen about Meng Yao. What? He's Meng Yao's bodyguard? Pin Liang froze. How could Lin Yi be Meng Yao's bodyguard? The two of them didn't seem to be on the same wavelength. What was going on? Yes. He's hired by Peng Zhan to protect Meng Yao and Yu Shu in the dark. Fabai nodded, every debt has a debtor, but this time, we can only target Peng Zhan and Lin Yi. We can't touch Peng Zhan for now, but as for Lin Yi, we can make an example out of him. Fuck. Pin Liang almost jumped up from his bed. I was wondering why Yu Shu had Lin Yi's photo in her phone. So he's Meng Yao's bodyguard. Fuck, I didn't realize this. This kid always seems to be ruining things between Meng Yao and me in school. So he's Meng Yao's bodyguard. This kid sure is good at hiding his strength. Son, Meng Yao isn't your type. Don't go after her anymore. Fabai sighed, Jian Wen isn't someone we can touch right now. We'll focus on Lin Yi first. We'll think about other things when we're stronger. Dad, I understand. At this point, Pin Liang understood that it was impossible for him to pursue Meng Yao. At least, it was impossible before Zhong Naipao appeared out of nowhere. As reluctant as he was, Pin Liang gritted his teeth. A man doesn't have to worry about not having a wife. Dad, don't worry, I'll endure it until the day we get rich. Yes, that's right. We'll take revenge for this. But for now, we can only live under Master Bing's protection. Fabai nodded, pleased. Right, Dad, that Lin Yi isn't weak. We need to deal with him. Pin Liang was still worried about Lin Yi's skills. After all, Lin Yi had crippled Heibao bro. Don't worry, we'll need Master Bing's help to deal with him. We won't stand out. Fabai said, there's no rush. We need to gain Master Bing's trust first. I'll do a good job with the slums. Let Master Bing treat me as his right-hand man. That's the only way we can borrow his power. The slums. Pin Liang's eyes lit up. Dad, I have an idea. I know how to deal with Lin Yi. Oh. What do you think? Fabai didn't expect his son to have an idea so soon. He was worried that his son wouldn't come up with another idiotic idea, would he? Luckily, he told him about it beforehand. Otherwise, he'd be in trouble again. Son, think before you act. Don't be impulsive. Chapter 568. Chapter 568. Visiting Pin Liang's words stunned Fabai. It was said that great emotions could change a person's personality and make an immature child grow up in an instant. However, he had never seen it with his own eyes. Seeing that Pin Liang was much more mature and didn't sound like a child anymore, Fabai was very pleased. Son, I'm glad that you think like that. You didn't lose your kidney for nothing. I won't lose it for nothing. I won't let go of Jian Wen and Peng Zhan. Pin Liang shook his head. But for now, let's pick the weak ones first. Dad, aren't you going to demolish the slums? I know that Lin Yi's girlfriend lives in the slums. When you demolish the place, make things difficult for her family. Of course, it's best if you direct the conflict to Master Bing. Lin Yi will use Jian Wen to deal with me, so we'll use Master Bing to deal with Lin Yi. If anything happens, Lin Yi and Peng Zhan's anger will only be directed at Master Bing, not us. Fabai listened to his son's suggestion and nodded. That's a good idea, but if they don't stay in the slums, we won't be able to cause conflict, right? We can create conflict with this. For example, forcefully demolish their house. Hey. We can use a bulldozer and let Master Bing do it himself. Pin Liang suggested. Okay, I'll try my best. Bai hated Lin Yi as well. If he could use Master Bing to mess with him, he would be more than happy to do so. As he spoke, his phone rang. It was Pinliang's homeroom teacher. Thus, he quickly picked up the call. Hello, Teacher Liu. Oh, you organized a group of students to visit Pinliang? Thank you so much. Are you at the hospital already? All right, come over. He's in room 418 of the 4th ward. After hanging up, Bai said to Pinliang, your teacher and classmates are here to visit you. I'm going out for a smoke. Pinliang nodded and felt warmth in his heart. It seemed like his teacher and classmates didn't forget about him. The last time he treated them to a trip, he had repaid the favor. Otherwise, how miserable would it be if not a single classmate came to his hospital? He waited for a while, but the students didn't show up. It would take some time to get to the 4th hospital from the entrance. Pinliang picked up his iPad too and logged into the mobile reading base's website. He started reading a novel called Very Pure Very Flirtatious Prequel. This was a very YY school novel, and the main character in the novel was very powerful. It was super fun to step on people, and Pinliang had fallen in love with this novel. He kept fantasizing about being the main character in the novel, wondering when he'd be able to step on Lin Yi and Jian Wen like that. However, the more he read, the more depressed he became. Why did he feel like a supporting character in a novel who was stepped on? And so, Pinliang fantasized that this side character could get strong enough to take down the main character. He didn't know how long had passed, but when he was enjoying himself, footsteps came from outside the ward. Then, the ward door was pushed open, and his classmates filed into the ward. Pinliang put his apple aside and raised his head with a smile. Although he saw Yushu and Meng Yaro walking in front of him, he didn't see anything wrong with their presence. He had learned how to hide himself, and he wasn't surprised that Meng Yaro and Yushu were rescued safely. If they weren't, Jian Wen wouldn't dare to act recklessly. As for the process of being rescued, Pinliang didn't think about it. It was meaningless. Oh, Liangyi, I heard that you lost a kidney. Yushu exclaimed as soon as she entered the ward. Does that mean that I'm not a man anymore? Pinliang heard Yushu's words and felt embarrassed, but he didn't throw a tantrum. After all, he was the one who kidnapped them first. Yushu was probably here to insult him, but Yushu's expression was innocent, and no one would think that she was insulting him. Shu, don't talk nonsense. Of course he's a man, he just doesn't have a kidney. Meng Yaro wanted to laugh, but she played along with Yushu's act for once. She hated Pinliang very much. Oh, I got it. Then he's not a complete man. Yushu nodded as she realized what Lin Yi meant. Yushu and Meng Yao's conversation made the students laugh. They couldn't help it. Although they sympathized with Pinliang, Yushu's words were too funny. Not a complete man? That was very ambiguous. Pinliang's face turned red, but he couldn't refute it. How could he? He was missing a kidney, so he wasn't a complete man. Yushu was right. Wow. Liangyi, isn't this an iPad too? I saw a news article about a guy selling his kidney to buy an iPad. You're not that guy, are you? Yushu looked at Pinliang, surprised. Pinliang was speechless. He wanted to smash the iPad on the spot. His family was rich, okay? Did he need to sell his kidney? It was cut off by someone, okay? Pinliang wanted to say that Yushu knew how he lost his kidney, but he couldn't say that. But he couldn't say that out loud. Wouldn't that be admitting that he'd kidnapped Meng Yaro and Yushu? He couldn't admit it. Admitting it was another matter. Pinliang wasn't an idiot. He could only let Yushu talk nonsense. At that moment, Ms. Liu came in, and Yushu stopped talking nonsense. She stood at the side with a smile, holding Meng Yao's hand. Her eyes were full of curiosity. Shu, let's go. I don't feel good when I see him. Meng Yaro frowned. She didn't want to be too close to Pinliang. Okay, let's go. Yushu nodded. I just wanted to see what a person without a kidney looks like. He looks normal. It's nothing, right? Meng Yaro shook her head, and the two walked out hand in hand. Lin Yi didn't go forward at all. He only followed Meng Yaro and Yushu. Pinliang didn't have much of a relationship with most people. They only came to see him out of sympathy. Now that they were done, they were ready to go back to school. After all, the 12th grade was very tight. Many people had to go back to study. Xiaofu came with everyone, trembling. He didn't know the truth behind Pinliang's kidney being cut off, but he had a feeling that it had something to do with Meng Yao's kidnapping. He was scared that he would be the next target. Chapter 569. The Secret Theft Plan. Fuck, who else could it be? It's all because of Meng Yao, Pinliang said hatefully. But it wasn't Pengzhan, it was someone else. Have you heard of the Songshan 4 young masters? Yeah, but wasn't that a long time ago? Didn't they all go their separate ways now? Xiaofu said. It was one of the 4 young masters, Zhen Wen. I didn't expect Meng Yao to be his childhood sweetheart. Looks like I've fallen into his hands this time, Pinliang said helplessly. Looks like I can't get back at him anymore. No way, he's that strong. Xiaofu paused. What do we do? What else can we do? Just bear with it for now, Pinliang said faintly. Don't worry, it's over. You won't be dragged into this. Liang bro, that's not what I meant. I'm not scared, it's just that this is too cruel. Cutting out a kidney for you, Xiaofu said, but he was afraid. Forget it, we'll just keep quiet from now on. Let's see who dares to go against us after Naipao leaves the mountain, Pinliang said, gritting his teeth. Yeah, who do we have to be afraid of when Naipao comes back? We'll be the new Songshan 3 young masters. We'll kill whoever dares to go against us. Xiaofu was looking forward to Naipao as well. Alright, Xiaofu, focus on your studies. Let's not cause any more trouble for now, Pinliang said. Pinliang didn't mention that he was going to cause trouble for Lin Yi through Master Bing. He was afraid that Xiaofu would leak it out. Pinliang was much calmer now. Donghai, Dr. Kang's villa. Dr. Kang's face was very unfriendly. House Kang didn't get anything out of this auction at all. Not only did they buy a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing at a high price, but they also spent most of their money. That was not all. The most important thing was that there was basically no hope for him to become an aristocratic family. The skin-beautifying golden creation, which they had high hopes for, became dispensable in front of the special edition injury medicine from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. The 1,000-year snow lotus that they bought at a high price might not even be able to recoup the costs. Grandpa, I think Grandpa must have given the formula to Kang Xiaobo. Otherwise, why would Miracle Dr. Guan's company have the formula for the injury medicine and the special edition? Jiaolong said carefully as he looked at his grandpa who was walking around the room. I've asked. Boss said that he hasn't seen the formula. Kang Xiaobo doesn't have any formula either. Dr. Kang shook his head. I know Boss's character. If he wanted to make money, he wouldn't have quarreled with me in the first place. Grandpa, times have changed. Kang Ming stood up and said, at that time, Big Grandpa didn't have a grandson, so he didn't think too much. He only thought about himself. But now, he was thinking about the future of his children and grandchildren. Look at how pitiful Kang Xiaobo is right now. His women are all my leftovers. Big Grandpa wouldn't want his grandson to be poor, would he? That's why he gave the formula to Kang Xiaobo. But he's afraid of losing face in front of you, so he won't admit it to you. Jiaoming, what you're saying is possible. Dr. Kang nodded. Then, what do you think we should do? Kang Ming was a sinister person himself, so it wasn't a problem for him to think of sinister things. But it was a bit hard for him to come up with a plan. Grandpa, I think we should get to the bottom of this. First, we need to see how they got the formula, and second, we need to get the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, Jiaolong said. Of course, we can't stop researching the formula for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. If we can make this pill, there's still hope for us to become a noble house. Of course, but we don't have our own people there. How are we supposed to get to the bottom of this? Dr. Kang nodded. Grandpa, didn't I tell you? There's a powerful person in our house, Jiaolong said as he looked at Kang Ming. Dr. Kang paused, remembering what Jiaolong said in Yangjing. He nodded. Jiaolong, tell me your plan. Jiaoming, I have a serious mission for you. Zhao said seriously, looking at Kang Mingming. Ah, me. What mission? Kang Mingming was getting goosebumps from Zhao stare. He didn't know what he wanted. Hit on Guan Shuimin's granddaughter, Guan Xin. What do you think? Can you complete this mission? Zhao asked, looking at Kang Mingming. Ah, hit on girls? Kang Mingming paused, then smiled. I can't say for other things, but I'm pretty good at hitting on girls. That's my forte, just leave it to me. Dr. Kang didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Kang Mingming's words, but this grandson of his wasn't completely useless. He really had to let him handle these side tasks. Guan Shuimin's granddaughter isn't that bad, unlike the girls you play around with. You'll have to put in more effort, Zhao said. According to my research, this Guan Xin became a nurse in the hospital after graduating from medical school, but she's pretty pure. I don't think she's had a boyfriend before, so this type of girl has a pure heart. It's not easy to get her, but once you get her, she'll be completely loyal to you. If you ask her to help you with some secrets, she'll be more than willing to help you. Ah, big bro, I didn't know you were this good. You know how girls think. Kang Mingming was quite surprised. He didn't think that his big bro, who'd never had a girlfriend, would know so much about women. This is just theoretical knowledge, and you're the one who's put it into practice. So, we still have to rely on you for this. If you get the recipe, you'll have done a great job, Zhao said. Alright, big bro, I don't have much talent in management, but I'm confident in doing things like this. Just send me out for these kinds of things in the future, it'll be a piece of cake for me. Kang Mingming had always been worried about not having a chance to show off his skills, and now he had a chance. After finalizing the plan, the Kang family discussed the analysis of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing's formula. Zhao, based on the current situation, this pill of life extension and toxin cleansing is different from the previous one, be it in terms of color or taste. Dr. Kang said. Could it be that we got it wrong last time? That the one we brought back was just dogshit? Chapter 570. Chapter 570, eaten by dogs this time. We can't afford to make any more mistakes. We need to work hard on researching the ingredients of the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. If we have the recipe, there's still hope for us to become a noble house, Dr. Kang said. Grandpa, what about me and Wang Xinyan? Zhao hadn't planned on interacting with Wang Xinyan at first, but things had changed so quickly. Becoming a noble house was a sure thing, but it was all gone in the blink of an eye. This made Zhao very depressed. We still have to interact with her. Our family is in a troubled state right now, and we can't cut off contact with the Xiao family. Dr. Kang's voice was filled with helplessness. Zhao nodded. He was still very interested in Wang Xinyan, but he couldn't decide how far he should go with her because of the benefits of his family. He was afraid that House Kang would become too powerful, and he would be tied down by Wang Xinyan. He was also afraid that House Kang would lose the support of the Xiao family and become even more miserable. And so, Zhao didn't get a good night's sleep. He woke up early in the morning, planning to bring the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to the lab to study its ingredients. If he really couldn't figure out what it was, then he'd have to go back to Wang Xinyan. He came to the living room, where his grandpa had placed the pill yesterday. Zhao was just about to reach for it when he realized that the box with the pill was open. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing inside had disappeared without a trace. Oh no! Where was the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Grandpa! Zhao yelped in fright. This was over 400 million. It wasn't a joke. Zhao voice alerted Dr. Kang, Kang Guifeng, Kang Cuepu, and Kang Mingming. They all rushed to the living room and looked at the empty box on the coffee table, their mouths agape. Why is it gone? Who touched the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing? Dr. Kang's first thought was that someone in his family had secretly stolen the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, so his expression immediately darkened. Everyone was stunned, but they shook their heads. They were all members of the Kang family. Although Kang Guifeng and Kang Cuepu had some conflicts in the dark, it was still a personal grudge. How could they dare to disrupt the family's affairs? Dog fur. Kang Ming Ming's sharp eyes suddenly noticed a few strands of dog fur beside the box containing the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Where's the shepherd dog? Dr. Kang was stunned and frowned. Could it be that his dog had taken it away? Previously, because he had been researching dog poop, he had left the German shepherd dog at home. Later on, he realized that dog poop was useless, so he didn't bother with it and just casually kept it at home. However, he didn't expect that dog to cause trouble and steal the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Everyone in the Kang family came to their senses and started searching the entire villa for the dog. Finally, they found the German shepherd dog in a corner of the courtyard. The German shepherd dog was curled up next to a pile of broken twigs. Around the dog was a pile of dog poop. It was extremely smelly. However, Dr. Kang couldn't care less about the smell of dog poop. He picked up the German shepherd dog and started searching around. However, after searching for a long time, he couldn't find the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing had disappeared. Where did this stupid dog take the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing to? Dr. Kang was incomparably anxious. Cold sweat had formed on his forehead. That was bought with shining silver. It was more than 400 million. If it was lost, wouldn't it be a huge loss? Everyone looked at each other in dismay. Where could they find such a small pill? This villa was huge. No matter where it fell, they wouldn't be able to take care of it. However, only Kang Ming Ming's expression changed. Grandpa, could it have been eaten by a dog? What do you mean Grandpa was eaten by a dog? How can you say that? Kang Tsuepu was a little angry when he heard his son's inappropriate words. It's not that Grandpa was eaten by a dog. I'm saying the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was eaten by a dog. Kang Ming Ming hurriedly explained, this dog's condition is similar to the last time I ate it. It's all diarrhea, and it's lying there powerlessly. When Dr. Kang heard Kang Ming Ming's words, he looked at the dog's condition. Indeed, it was no different. His head immediately buzzed and his vision went black. He collapsed to the ground and fainted. Anyone in his shoes would faint. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing that was bought with 400 million was eaten by a dog. How was anyone supposed to live? Dr. Kang fainted was still all right. If it were someone with a weaker mental fortitude, their heart would have exploded. The rest of them weren't much better off than Dr. Kang. He was the Kang family's only hope for ascension, but he was eaten by a dog just like that. The heavens weren't helping the Kang family. However, regardless of what the heavens were thinking, the Kang family hurriedly sent Dr. Kang to the hospital. The pill of life extension and toxin cleansing was gone. If anything happened to Dr. Kang, the Kang family would really be finished. Miracle Dr. Kang, on the other hand, was fine. He'd only fainted because of the anxiety, and woke up when he got to the hospital. He was worried about the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing at home. Even if it was eaten by a dog, he'd kill the dog and extract the pill from its stomach. You bastards, why are you sending me to the hospital? What a waste of time. Why don't you open up the dog's stomach and see if there's any pill inside? Dr. Kang was furious. These wastrels were really infuriating. Didn't they know what was more important? Kang Gui Feng and the rest looked at each other. That's right. Why didn't they think of that? It was probably too late to go back now, right? The dog had already digested the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but no matter what, Dr. Kang still rushed out of the hospital and brought his family back to the villa. What greeted him was a shepherd dog full of energy. There was no need to mention how energetic this shepherd dog was. It jumped up and down with inexhaustible energy. Dr. Kang regretted it when he saw the dog. The dog must have digested the pill already. How else could it be so energetic? But Miracle Dr. Kang still wanted to give it a try. He killed the dog, but there was nothing left in the dog's stomach. It seemed like it had been digested. Dr. Kang sat on the ground, almost crying himself to death. He almost rolled on the ground. 400 million. That was more than 400 million, gone just like that. There was nothing left. Why was his family so unlucky? Dr. Kang pounded his chest and stamped his feet. The others weren't any better. Kang Guifeng and Kang Tsuepu had dark expressions on their faces, and Jiaolong and Kang Mingming were feeling extremely regretful as well. Another good opportunity was missed by the Kang family. Chapter 571. Dr. Kang almost died. Yes, let's eat dog meat. Dr. Kang perked up. Xiaoming's idea is still the best. Since the dog ate the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, let's eat the dog. It should have some effect, right? The rest of the Kang family felt that it made sense. So, the Kang family quickly cooked the dog meat. The dog was really strong, and the whole family ate it for an entire night before the dog meat was all gone. Everyone wanted to extend their lifespan, and while ensuring that miracle Dr. Kang had enough to eat, the others all fought to eat as well. In the end, they had to force themselves to eat, waiting for a miracle to happen. However, their idea was good, but the actual result was sad. On the second day, other than everyone eating too much and shitting more than usual, there was no effect at all. The dog meat was basically wasted. Dr. Kang's heart ached. What an eventful time. Wasn't the Kang family's bad luck a little too much? His heart was bleeding. He had worked so hard to save up 400 million yuan, and now it was gone just like that. Grandpa, since the dog ate the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he probably couldn't digest it completely, right? There might even be some pill of life extension and toxin cleansing in the dog poop. Why don't I try eating some dog poop? Kang Mingming's brain worked. Since the dog meat had no effect, he turned his attention to the dog poop. This. Dr. Kang heard Kang Mingming's words and felt that it made sense. There might really be some pill of life extension and toxin cleansing in the dog poop. If he let Kang Mingming eat it, Kang Mingming might just get lucky again. So, Dr. Kang gritted his teeth and said, "I'll eat it. You already ate it last time. Let me try it this time." There wasn't a lot of dog poop, so everyone coveted it. However, since Dr. Kang had spoken, the descendants of the Kang family could only give this precious opportunity to eat dog poop to Dr. Kang. This time, the dog poop was much smellier than usual. However, in order to prolong his life, Dr. Kang had no choice but to bite the bullet and eat it. He was almost suffocated to death by the smell of the dog poop. If he hadn't gritted his teeth and endured, he might have vomited it out. But this time, Dr. Kang was disappointed again. Not only was he disappointed, but he almost lost his life. After eating the dog poop, he started to vomit and have diarrhea, but there was no detoxification. After 2 to 3 days, Dr. Kang was almost dehydrated. When the Kang family saw that things couldn't go on like this, they quickly sent old man Kang to the hospital. After a checkup, it was confirmed that he had food poisoning. The doctor said that if he had come 2 days later, the old man would have died. The Kangs were puzzled at first. How could they be poisoned by eating dog poop? But when Dr. Kang woke up, his words woke them up. The name of the pill was the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Naturally, it was for detoxification. What he ate was the poison excreted by dogs. Wouldn't that make him food poisoning? The Kangs tried 13 different methods, and in the end, Dr. Kang almost lost his life. Dr. Kang called for a family meeting on his sickbed, listing this incident as House Kang's top secret. No one was to mention it in the future. There was no other reason than that it was too embarrassing. If this were to be exposed, House Kang would be done for. For now, they should just stick to Kang Mingming's plan of hitting on girls. Starting with Guan Xin was the best option. If they could get the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, House Kang would be able to survive this crisis. Lin Yi looked at Pinliang's calm, yet hazy eyes. He had a vague feeling that there was something wrong with him, but he couldn't figure out what Pinliang was planning. Intuition told Lin Yi that Pinliang would definitely take revenge, but he didn't know if the target would be House Chu or Jian Wen. On the way back to school, Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo sat together. Kang Xiaobo didn't hide his joy at all. Pinliang, that little bastard, finally got his comeuppance. Let's see if he can still jump around after losing one of his kidneys. What's wrong with Tang Yin? Why didn't she come to school today? Do you have Xiaofen's phone number? Can you ask? Lin Yi was worried about Tang Yin. He hadn't seen her for a few days, and he missed her. He didn't know why Tang Yin was avoiding him. Was there a misunderstanding? Oh, today. The slums are being demolished. They said that they're here to discuss the compensation. They want everyone to stay. Liu Xinwen took the day off, and Tang Yin should be at home. Kang Xiaobo said. I see. Lin Yi nodded. Mrs. Tang had told him about this before, and he had also told them that after the demolition, he would pay some money for a retail house. Lin Yi was relieved after hearing Kang Xiaobo's reason. As long as Tang Yin was at home, nothing would happen. Boss, I need to tell you something. Yesterday, Zhu Ruoming's father came to my house. Kang Xiaobo told Lin Yi about what happened at the tea house, especially when Kang Xiaobo and Zhu Ruoming were scared when they heard Lin Yi's name. It made Kang Xiaobo very happy. Lin Yi only smiled faintly. Lin Yi didn't feel any sense of achievement to make these small people afraid of him. Only Kang Xiaobo would be this excited. Today was a big day in Shanty Town, because a development company was going to renovate the Shanty Town. In fact, this was good news. The residents of Shanty Town were looking forward to living in a building. Of course, they also wanted to get a lot of compensation. It wasn't that no development company had the idea of Shanty Town before, but in the end, they gave up because the development cost was too high. The development company was responsible for the compensation and relocation of the relocated residents. However, Shanty Town was different from the general old city reconstruction. Although the houses in Shanty Town were dilapidated, due to historical reasons, the area of each house was not small. In addition to the house, each house also had a bicycle shed, a warehouse, and a straw shed. These all had housing certificates. When the demolition was carried out, they also had to pay compensation according to the area. In this way, in addition to the house, each house had a shed or warehouse that was a few hundred meters wide. How much would it cost to demolish them? Even if they gave 3 to 5 houses, it wouldn't be enough. In such a situation, which development company dared to develop it? Wouldn't it be a losing business? However, there was no other way. Shanty Town had historical reasons. It was originally a rural area, and later changed into a town. It wasn't until the end of 2000 years that it was connected to the city. Gradually, after more than 10 years of development, it became the main city area. In the past, when the cost of land was cheap, no development company was interested in this place. But later, the supporting facilities nearby were upgraded, and the housing prices rose. Now, this place couldn't afford to be demolished. Chapter 572. Kill one to warn others. Tang Juqing could already stand up and walk a few steps with the help of a crutch. However, there seemed to be some problem with the nerves in his left leg. It wasn't very sensitive, so he walked with a limp and stayed at home. Today was a big day in the slums. Other than Tang Juqing, the mother and daughter came to the only square in the slums, which used to be the garbage dump. Later on, the city started a garbage removal project and set up a few temporary garbage dumps in the slums. Only then did they completely remove the garbage dump. Otherwise, the smell would be unbearable in the summer. After it was cleaned up, it became a place for the elderly to play chess and exercise. It was also an empty space for the kids to play. Today, it became a place for negotiations with the developers. Behind the empty space, between 2 trees, there was a sign, "Welcome to Chibing Real Estate's renovation of the slums." Chibing sat in the back of the Audi Q7, and Zhong Fabai was the temporary driver. Jin Gubang sat in the front passenger seat, and beside Chibing was a middle-aged man. They couldn't tell who this middle-aged man was. He suddenly appeared next to Chibing early in the morning. Chibing didn't introduce him, and the middle-aged man didn't say much either. However, Fabai and Jin Gubang guessed that this man was Chibing's bodyguard. It was just that he wasn't here for the past few days. Behind the Audi Q7 was a black van with Zhong Fabai's underlings sitting in it. They were the thugs in charge of the negotiation. Their purpose was to teach those disobedient residents a lesson. The car stopped near the empty space, and Chibing saw the sign on the square with one glance. He felt very satisfied. It seemed that these people had been waiting for their relocation for a long time, and now that he had the initiative, he would be able to lower the price a bit more for them. "Master Bing, these people seem to welcome you very much." Fabai said flatteringly, but in his mind, he was planning to divert the trouble. "Mph, let's see if they still welcome you when you tell them the price later." Master Bing wasn't stupid. He knew that these people didn't know the price he was going to give them. They wouldn't welcome him when he told them the price. So what if they don't welcome me? They still have to demolish it. This is Master Bing's first project in Songshan. You can't let these unruly people ruin it, Zhong Fabai said. Naturally, we won't stop because of them. However, if these unruly people don't allow us to demolish it, it will be troublesome. Zhao Qibing looked at the people in the square and frowned. It's obvious that these people have discussed this beforehand. I'm afraid that the negotiation won't go smoothly. This will depend on your determination, Master Bing. Fabai smiled. Since Zihua Bro asked me to come here, I know what's going on. I do have some tricks up my sleeves, but Master Bing, you have to give me a limit. No matter how big the problem is, can I take responsibility? As long as we don't kill these people, we'll be fine, Master Bing said calmly. In Master Bing's eyes, the residents of the slums were like ants. He didn't believe that they could cause any trouble. With Master Bing here, things will be much easier. Fabai patted his chest and said, Master Bing, just watch. I'm the best at dealing with these unruly people. If it doesn't work, we'll just use the bulldozer and scare them to death. Yes, as long as they don't kill anyone, anything is fine. Master Bing nodded. But, it's best if you kill one to warn the others. I'm afraid that I won't be able to suppress it if it causes too much of a commotion. But injuring or crippling one or two is still an accident, right? Understood. Fabai nodded. Master Bing, let's see if there are any troublemakers later. It'll be easier after we get rid of them. That's what I meant, but old Zhong, don't you think you have too few people? Looking at the slums in the square, Zhao Qibing felt that Fabai's men might not be able to intimidate these people. Of course, he wasn't afraid himself, but he was afraid that something might happen. That's why he asked his father for this master. Not to mention the hundreds of people in the square, even if there were more, he would be fine. But, it would be too much of a problem if he asked his bodyguards to deal with these people. Master Bing, these are just the workers who came with us. There's still the bulldozer and the trenching machine behind them. They'll be here soon. Fabai looked at his watch and said, they should be here soon. That's good, I'll leave it to you later. Zhao Qibing was relieved when he heard that Fabai still had men. Let's see who's not convinced later. We'll tear down their houses first. We should be more forceful from the start, or else these unruly people will take advantage of us. Fabai calculated in his heart. He'd tear down Tang Yun's house later, and it'd be best if they made a big commotion. If Tang Yun was hurt, Lin Yi wouldn't just stand by and do nothing, right? When the time came, he would push all the blame away and let Lin Yi take revenge on Master Bing. If Lin Yi went against Master Bing, wouldn't he be seeking death? Master Bing nodded and got out of the car. Accompanied by Fabai, Jin Gubang, and the bodyguard, they came to a temporary rostrum in the square and sat down. The residents of the slums quietened down as well. They stared at the people on the rostrum without blinking. These were people who could decide their fates. Their words were like gold. How could they not be careful? This is the chairman of our Qibing Real Estate Development Company, Zhao Qibing, Director Zhao. He's in charge of this slum's reconstruction. If you guys have any requests, you can tell us. We'll discuss the demolition plan. Fabai remembered Zhao Qibing's words. Kill one to warn 100. He had to find someone to establish his dominance, so he purposely said those words. He was waiting for someone who didn't care about their lives to ask for more. Then, he'd teach them a lesson so that they wouldn't dare to ask for more. Fabai's words stunned the residents on the spot. Wasn't it always the developer who came and asked if they wanted to demolish the slums or not? Why was it a negotiation this time? Could it be that the developer this time had a conscience and was prepared to bring some benefits to the slums? So, the residents started to think, but no one dared to step out first. After all, no one knew if the developer was telling the truth or not. Chapter 573. Kill one to warn others. They came to the slums early in the morning. Master Bing hadn't eaten yet, and his stomach was growling. Fabai was attentive and stood beside Master Bing, so he heard the growling and found a chance to get on Master Bing's good side. Master Bing was hungry as well, so he nodded. Let's eat something first then. The slum's residents, who had been waiting for a long time, were dumbfounded. Why did these big bosses just come and leave like that? They were waiting to talk about the price, and now they were going to eat. What was the meaning of this? But they didn't dare to ask. They watched as Master Bing and the others left. Chibbing and the others were about to get into the car to eat when he heard someone call his name. Master Bing, wait for me. Chibbing turned around and froze. He recognized the person immediately. You're Lee Erlen, right? It's me. Erlen was overjoyed. He didn't think that Master Bing would still recognize him after all this time. Master Bing, I've missed you so much. Don't you know that I've lost my purpose in life after you left? I can't live without Boss. I feel so empty. Chibbing had spent a few days in Songshan during middle school, so he got to know the tyrant of the school, Lee Erlen. Chibbing was rich, and he had bodyguards at school. Erlen wasn't an idiot who only knew how to fight. He could tell that Chibbing's family wasn't ordinary, and he could get some benefits from Chibbing, and so, he volunteered to be Chibbing's follower. Chibbing had bodyguards that wanted to send him to school, but bodyguards couldn't go to school. Having a follower in school was a great thing, and so Chibbing was very happy that Erlen had joined him. He didn't mistreat him, and Erlen got quite a lot of benefits from Chibbing as well. Who would have thought that Chibbing wouldn't even stay for 2 months before transferring schools? Lee Erlen was quite troubled. He'd thought that he'd be the young master's follower for a long time, and that he'd be able to find a better future in the future, but the young master had already transferred schools. Chibbing had the ability to transfer schools, but Erlen didn't. He could only stay in his old school obediently. But Zhao Chibbing was quite comfortable using Erlen, so he didn't mind Erlen calling him after he left. Chibbing had contacted Lee Erlen before coming back to Songshan, but this was the first time they'd met, and Lee Erlen looked a little different than before. Oh, let's go get something to eat. Chibbing nodded and introduced Lee Erlen to Fabai and the others. This is Lee Erlen, my follower from Songshan. He lives in the slums too. You can ask him about the demolition. Fabai looked down on Lee Erlen before, but when he heard that he was Zhao Chibbing's follower, he immediately became respectful. After all, he wasn't Zhao Chibbing's follower yet. He was only working for Zhao Chibbing now, not the core of the organization. Gubang, on the other hand, was secretly astonished as well. How was this inconspicuous gangster Master Bing's lackey? But he didn't dare ask. Chibbing found a restaurant. He didn't have much interest in food, but he was interested in women and money. Let's go here. Erlen, go ask if there's a private room. All right. Erlen was a gangster in this area, and naturally, he knew the owner of the restaurant. After entering, he called out to the waiter. Get your boss out here. The waiter knew Erlen, too, and knew that he was a gangster. He didn't dare offend him, so he quickly nodded and called the boss over. The boss frowned when he saw Erlen. Erlen, didn't I give you pocket money this month? Why are you here again? The boss wasn't afraid of Erlen, but it was better to give a gangster like him some benefits every month. It would be troublesome if they caused trouble. What do you mean again? I'm here to have a meal. I'm looking up to you. My boss is here. Prepare a private room. Erlen glared at the boss impatiently. My boss is Chairman Zhao from Chibbing Real Estate. He's from the capital. The boss, on the other hand, had heard that Chibbing Real Estate was in charge of renovating the slums nearby. He paused, wondering when did this Erlen get to know such a powerful boss. He didn't dare to delay and put on a smile. Erlen, it seems like you're going to make a fortune in the future. Don't forget about us after you become a boss. Of course. All right, stop talking and get a private room. Lee Erlen was very pleased with the boss's words. He was also thinking that since Master Bing had come here to start a company, as his former follower, could he also get a job for himself and let him be the boss of a company? The boss personally sent Master Bing and the others to the private room. He didn't know Master Bing, but he had seen Zhong Fabai before. Which restaurant owner didn't know Zhong Fabai? Seeing how respectful Zhong Fabai was to the young man, the boss knew that Master Bing wasn't someone to be trifled with. Soon, the dishes were placed on the table. Zhao Chibbing ate some and asked, Erlen, I told you that I'm going to develop the slums. Did you ask around? What's the situation like now? The relocated households have already discussed it. They want 3,000 yuan per square meter as compensation. Li Erlan said, they're asking for too much. That's bullsh*t. 3,000. Zhao Qibing laughed coldly. The price of a house here is only 10,000, and they want 3,000? That's right. If it were up to me, they'd be asking for more than 1,000. Erlan said, Master Bing, I've asked around. There's no one with a powerful background in the slums. They're all small fries. Just do whatever you want, it'll be fine. That's good. Zhao Qibing nodded and turned to Fabai. If that's the case, demolish a few houses for me today. Demolish the house of the troublemaker first. Let's see if they'll still dare to be cocky after that. Don't worry, Master Bing. The bulldozer and trenching machine are already in place. We can start anytime. Fabai nodded. Chapter 574. Chapter 574 Incho? How pretty is she? Master Bing's eyes lit up, but he maintained a calm expression. He had passed the age where he couldn't move when he saw a woman. Although he was lustful, he had good taste. He had played with many women over the years, and some of them were exquisite. But the more he did it, the more Master Bing developed aesthetic fatigue. Now, he was only interested in girls, especially virgins. That was his favorite. Tang Yun, have you heard of her? She's the prettiest girl in Songshan's first high school and the #1 beauty in the slums, Erlan said. I have a photo here. Master Bing, can you take a look? Oh, let me see. Master Bing took Erlan's phone. It was filled with photos of Tang Yun that Erlan had secretly taken. Fabai was overjoyed. He was just thinking about how to shift the blame to Tang Yun when Erlan appeared. It was perfect timing. Now, he had a reason to mess with Tang Yun's family. Master Bing, I've heard of this Tang Yun before. My son is also studying in Songshan's first high school. There's a commoner school beauty called Tang Yun. Fabai interrupted. But I heard that she got a boyfriend recently. Just got a boyfriend? Not in the past. Master Bing's eyes lit up. It was very likely that the girl was a virgin. He looked at the photos on Erlan's phone. They were the best of the best. If the photos were already so pretty, how beautiful would the real person be? He was most interested in this type of woman. Not in the past, Master Bing. I'm sure that Tang Yun is still a virgin, Erlan said. I've done some research on this. Women who have lost their virginity before can tell. Zhao Qibing nodded. Old Zhong, think of a way to deal with Tang Yun's family. This girl is mine. Don't worry, Master Bing. I'll take care of it. Zhong Fabai's heart was filled with joy. God is helping me. This Li Erlan is such a wonderful person. I heard that Tang Yun's family wants to build a storefront after the demolition. We can use this as a bargaining chip. Li Erlan had already asked around about Tang Yun's family. He was from the slums, after all, so it wasn't hard for him to find out. Zhong Fabai nodded. He was even more grateful to Li Erlan. This time, he even had a reason to make things difficult for him. He didn't have to think about it anymore. After the meal, they returned to the square of Shanty Town. However, there was one more person on the podium. It was Li Erlan. The residents of Shanty Town were somewhat inexplicable. Why did these big bosses come and leave, and then come back? What kind of play was this? Seeing Li Erlan on the rostrum, the residents of Shanty Town were annoyed. Li Erlan must have colluded with the enemy and told the developers about the residents' opinions. Because Li Erlan was also a member of Shanty Town, they did not hide it from him during the meeting, so he knew more about it. Now, it seemed that it was a mistake. This brat was indeed a bad seed. He actually became a spy. Have you finished discussing? If you haven't, then let me talk about the compensation rules of Qibing real estate. Fabai cleared his throat and looked at the crowd. The compensation for every square meter is 800. After the house is built, we can give the returning residents a discount. The returning residents can enjoy a 20% discount, but the storefront and the garage are excluded. 800. The residents of Shanty Town were unhappy and started to clamor. How high are the housing prices now? How are we supposed to buy a house with 800? The housing prices here are already 10,000, and it's still 8,000 after a 20% discount. We will calculate the size of the sheds and the warehouse. Adding all of these together, it shouldn't be a problem for your family to buy a small house of 30 to 40 square meters, Fabai said indifferently. Okay, if there are no more problems, let's sign the agreement. Everyone was a little dumbfounded. The amount of compensation they agreed on was 3,000, but the bottom line was 2,000. With such a sum of money, they could buy a decent big house elsewhere. However, they didn't expect the developer to only give 800. Wasn't the difference a little too big? The most disappointed person was Mrs. Tang. Her house was small, and she didn't have a warehouse or shed. She just wanted to buy a storefront and start a barbecue business with the money that Lin Yi gave her. But the returning residents didn't get a discount when buying a storefront. What kind of logic was this? We're not going to demolish it. What kind of compensation is this? If we demolish it, we won't have a place to live. Don't you guys agree? Someone started to clamor. Since someone had started it, there were more people who were dissatisfied. They all expressed their disagreement. This kind of compensation was too little. 3,000, not 1 cent less. We won't move if it's less. You guys can build wherever you want. Li Erlin, are you colluding with them? You traitor. How dare you betray us, Shanty Town? We're all on the first floor. Why don't we get a discount when buying a storefront? If that's the case, then we might as well not move. Mrs. Tang couldn't help but ask. She didn't have much of an opinion on the compensation. Even if they gave 2,000, it wouldn't be more than 10,000. Mrs. Tang didn't want to speak up at first. After all, it wasn't suitable for a woman to speak up in a situation like this. But since everyone started to speak up, she didn't care anymore. However, Zhong Fabai pointed at her the moment she opened her mouth. You want a storefront? Then come over here. Mrs. Tang blinked. She didn't hear anything from Zhong Fabai's tone. Could it be that he wanted to give her a discount? Mrs. Tang was tempted and wanted to walk over. Tang Yun was a little scared. Mom, don't go. The bird that sticks out gets shot. Silly child, can't you see that everyone is making a fuss? If you don't fight for the benefits now, when are you going to fight for it? Mrs. Tang glared at her daughter. There's strength in numbers. Don't you understand? You still want to talk to them in private. Don't forget about your father's matter. We can't solve anything by ourselves. Now that we have more people, we can raise some conditions together. They will definitely solve it. Then, I'll go with you. Tang Yun was still worried. After all, she had seen how evil the bad guys could be. Tang Yun walked with Mrs. Tang. Zhong Fabai's eyes lit up when he saw Tang Yun. This Lin Yi had good taste. This girl was quite pretty. What a pity. Chapter 575. Chapter 575. House Tang's tragedy. You want a retail store, right? Master Bing has the final say on this. Why don't you talk to him? Fabai purposely pushed Mrs. Tang towards Zhao Qibing. Master Bing, what do you think? We want a storefront. Is it possible? Mrs. Tang looked at Zhao Qibing worriedly. Qibing was obviously the one in charge, and he looked a little gloomy. Mrs. Tang didn't dare to look at him. Retail store. Master Bing didn't look at Mrs. Tang but looked at Tang Yun with a lecherous gaze. I can give you the retail store. It's up to you. What? How? Mrs. Tang was taken aback. She didn't expect Master Bing to say this. Not only could he give her a retail store, he could even give her the retail store for free. What kind of logic was this? Was there such a good person in the world? It wasn't possible. This is your daughter, right? Zhao Qibing looked at Tang Yun with a lecherous gaze. I need a female secretary here. Let her follow me. Let's not talk about one retail store. I can even give you two. Mrs. Tang was taken aback. She understood what Zhao Qibing meant. He had his eyes on her daughter, but was it worth it to trade her daughter for a retail store? Lin Yi didn't want his daughter anymore. It wouldn't be bad if his daughter followed Zhao Qibing. But would his words count? Tang Yun looked at her mother angrily. It was obvious that Zhao Qibing's conditions had moved her mother, but how could Tang Yun like Zhao Qibing? How could she agree to his conditions? Tang Yun pulled her mother's hand. Mom, let's go back. We don't want the retail store anymore. Mrs. Tang knew her daughter's personality. If it was someone she didn't like, she would never agree. She was as stubborn as a cow. It was useless to force her. The thing with Lin Yi was that she liked Lin Yi. But this Zhao Qibing was obviously playing around with her. If he really wanted Tang Yun to be his girlfriend, he wouldn't have made her his secretary. Let's go. Tang Yun turned around. She hated Zhao Qibing. Go. You can come and go as you please. Li Erlan suddenly jumped out and stood in front of the mother and daughter. I say, Tang Yun, it's your fortune that Master Bing has his eyes on you. Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. You'll lose everything if you cause a ruckus. Li Erlan, you traitor, get out of my way. Tang Yun held her head high. This Zhao Qibing obviously didn't have good intentions. How could she continue talking to them? Although Lin Yi didn't want him, he couldn't humiliate himself, right? Become someone's toy? She would rather be Lin Yi's mistress. Tang Yun, right? I'm not afraid to tell you that there's no woman I can't get my hands on. If you know what's good for you and follow me, then you'll have a good life. Your family will have a store and a house, but if you don't follow me, then you'll have to bear the consequences. Zhao Qibing laughed coldly and made a bold statement. In front of so many people, Tang Yun rejected him like this. It made him lose face. In the provincial capital, as long as Master Bing beckoned with his finger, many beauties would throw themselves into his arms. He thought that if Tang Yun promised her some benefits, she would obediently follow him. He didn't expect her to have such a personality. We don't want the store anymore, and we won't demolish the house. We'll live in the old house, okay? What else can you do? Tang Yun's personality was like this. She would rather give up the house than let others bully her. Not demolishing the house. That's not up to you. Zhao Qibing wanted to make an example out of Tang Yun. He couldn't find a target yet, so he decided to use Tang Yun's house as an example. He looked at Zhong Fabai. Fabai nodded and stood up, walking out of the square with Li Erlan. Mrs. Tang looked at her daughter helplessly. With this, the negotiation had come to an impasse. It was impossible to back out now. She didn't want the store anymore. She pulled her daughter and wanted to walk back. Did I say you could leave? Jin Gubang said coldly. Zhong Fabai and Li Erlan were gone, so it was his turn to speak. Can't we leave if we don't demolish the house? Tang Yun glared at Jin Gubang. Let them go. They'll regret it later, Zhao Qibing said faintly, but his tone was firm. He could already hear the sound of the bulldozer and trenching machine. Tang Yun and her daughter were confused. Why would they regret it later? But since they could go back now, they didn't want to stay here any longer. Mrs. Tang pulled Tang Yun home. She wanted to go back and discuss with Tang Yun. They couldn't just let it go like this, could they? What would they do if they gave up the store? Their dream of opening a barbecue shop was shattered. The two of them were near their house when they saw a trenching machine extending its arm, smashing towards their house. The bulldozers behind them roared as they pushed into the Tang family's courtyard, flattening all the fences in front of the door. Dad! Old Tang! Tang Yun and her mother screamed at the same time and ran back to their house. They didn't expect Zhao Qibing to send people to demolish their house. But Tang Jucheng was still in the house. What should they do? Tang Yun ignored the danger and rushed into the house while Mrs. Tang went to stop the excavator from demolishing the house. At this moment, the beams were all destroyed. They didn't know if Tang Jucheng was injured or not. He wouldn't be able to get out without help. What are you doing? My dad is still inside. Stop! Tang Yun yelled at the driver as she ran. However, Li Erlan, who was sitting next to the trenching machine driver, had a fierce look in his eyes. He said to the trenching machine driver, "Continue to dismantle it." She is lying. Master Bing said that he will take responsibility if anything happens. The driver nodded and continued to operate the machine. Tang Yun saw that they weren't listening and could only rush into the house. But could she still enter the house? The bulldozer was blocking the front door and pushing forward. It was obvious that they wanted to cooperate with the trenching machine and destroy the house. Chapter 576. Her face. Someone's dead. Someone's dead. Mrs. Tang saw that her daughter was smashed and rushed over like a madwoman. She didn't know how her husband was doing, and now her daughter was smashed. What should she do? The trencher and bulldozer drivers were dumbfounded and didn't dare to continue. After all, they were hired by Zhong Feibai. Zhong Feibai and Master Bing could handle the demolition, but if someone was killed, they wouldn't be able to get away with it. Zhong Feibai froze as well. He didn't think that Tang Yun would be so bold as to rush into the house. Did she want to die? Qibing, Jin Gubang, and the bodyguards were here to watch the commotion, but Mrs. Tang's scream of someone's dead shocked them as well. Zhao Qibing frowned when he saw the disfigured Tang Yun lying in a pool of blood. He cursed in his heart. Such a beautiful girl was killed just like that. Even if she wasn't dead, she wasn't pretty anymore. What a pity. Let's go. We'll come back in a few days. Seeing that someone was injured, Zhao Qibing knew that he couldn't continue the discussion today. However, he had achieved his goal of killing one as a warning to the others. After today's scene, these people wouldn't be able to ask for an exorbitant price the next time they came to discuss the issue of relocation. Don't go. Everyone, hurry up and stop them. We don't know what happened to Yin. They can't leave. They're murderers. Mrs. Tang saw that Zhao Qibing and the others were trying to escape and panicked. However, Zhao Qibing and the others got on the bulldozer and continued driving forward. The residents of the slums wanted to stop them, but no one dared to step forward. After all, these people dared to demolish people's houses. They wouldn't be afraid of being crushed to death. Zhao Qibing shouted when he saw that there were people who were eager to try. Go ahead if you're not afraid of death. Don't worry about these people, we'll crush them to death. Zhao Qibing's domineering attitude made the people who wanted to make a move stop. After all, everyone was afraid of death, especially someone like Zhao Qibing who wasn't afraid of death. Who would dare to provoke him? And so, Qibing's group left the slums very quickly, leaving only Mrs. Tang hugging Tang Yun and crying her heart out. The door was broken, and they couldn't get in. They didn't know if old Tang was all right or not. Someone had already called the police and the ambulance, but it was the fire truck that came first. The firefighters broke down the half-demolished house and rescued Jucheng. Mrs. Tang breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that only Tang Jucheng's legs were broken. Tang Jucheng could still speak when he was carried out, but he was grimacing in pain and sweating profusely. Mrs. Tang couldn't be bothered to comfort him, she just hugged her daughter and waited for the ambulance. Then, the ambulance and police car arrived. Mrs. Tang quickly carried her daughter into the ambulance, and Tang Jucheng was also carried into the other ambulance. The two ambulances sped towards the hospital. After the group left, Qibing gave the bulldozer and trench digger a sum of money and told them to leave first. The two were scared and ran after taking the money. Qibing, on the other hand, wasn't scared at all. If anything happened, he could just push the blame onto the two drivers. Uncle Zhu, follow them and create an accident. Kill them, Qibing whispered to the middle-aged bodyguard beside him after the two drivers left. Yes, Master Bing. The middle-aged man called Uncle Zhu didn't say anything else. He turned around and chased after the two drivers. Naturally, Qibing wouldn't allow the evidence to point at him after someone died. The only way was to eliminate the source of the trouble. After all, he didn't know if anyone died or not. Qibing had asked Uncle Zhu to kill a lot of people already, so he didn't feel guilty at all. He laughed and rushed back to Qibing Skyscraper with Erlan, Feibai, and Jin Gubang. Qibing Skyscraper was the headquarters of Qibing Real Estate built by Gubang and Tsihua a while ago. It was officially completed today. Qibing, on the other hand, was holding a completion ceremony for Qibing Skyscraper tonight. He invited some of the famous people in Songshan to the banquet hall in front of Qibing Skyscraper. This banquet hall would become a restaurant after the completion of Qibing Skyscraper. It was also the cafeteria for the employees of Qibing Skyscraper. Tang Yun and Tang Jucheng were sent to the hospital. When they arrived, Tang Yun was already awake. Mrs. Tang breathed a sigh of relief. After the medical staff's examination, Tang Yun only had a cut on her forehead. There were no other problems. But the wound on her forehead needed stitches, and it would leave a scar. It was impossible for her to be as beautiful as before. It was already good enough that she didn't scare people when she went out. Tang Juqing, on the other hand, had both of his legs broken. He was put on a cast after being sent to the hospital. He was fine except for the fact that he could stand up just now. Now, he had to lie on the bed again. In fact, Tang Yun and Tang Juqing were fine. But after Mrs. Tang breathed a sigh of relief, she started to worry again. Her house was forcefully demolished. She didn't even have a home in the future. What should she do? Now that her daughter's face was disfigured, she didn't even have the capital to bargain with Zhao Qibing. Would he still like her? So, Mrs. Tang was worried. She was hoping that her daughter could find a rich man with her face, but now, she had nothing. Mrs. Tang, on the other hand, had never thought of asking Zhao Qibing for medical fees. The memory of how hard it was for Tang Juqing was still fresh in her mind. She didn't expect Zhao Qibing to compensate them at all. Tang Yun's head was covered with bandages. She stared blankly at the ceiling of the hospital. Wouldn't she be pretty in the future? Was she going to become an ugly monster? Although, Tang Yun did get angry when she met bad guys who were drooling over her beauty. She wanted to become ugly so that she wouldn't be harassed. But women were born to love beauty. She didn't want to become ugly, did she? Would Lin Yi still like her? Tang Yun thought about how Lin Yi didn't want her anymore. Tears started to flow down her face. At first, she still had the capital to compete with Xiao Xiao, but now that her face was disfigured, Lin Yi probably wouldn't want her anymore, right? Yin, don't be sad. The doctor said that if you recover well, there won't be a big scar left. Mrs. Tang didn't know when she walked into the room. Seeing her daughter crying silently, Mrs. Tang's heart broke. Mom! Tang Yun couldn't hold back her emotions anymore. She started crying. Mom, why is our family so unlucky? Why? Why did they demolish our house? Why? Chapter 577. What to do in the future? You're right. The bird that pokes its head out gets shot, but Mom, I shouldn't have tried to take advantage of them and asked for a store. Now that I think about it, they just wanted to make an example out of me. We just happened to bump into each other. Mrs. Tang continued. Tang Yun felt wronged. Half of it was because she was bullied, and the other half was because she was abandoned by Lin Yi. It seemed like the ugly duckling was destined to never become a swan. She thought that she had found a good boyfriend, but in the end, he just wanted to play with her. After hearing Zhao Qibing's words, Tang Yun suddenly understood. Girls from poor families like her were just playthings in the eyes of those rich young masters. How could they be sincere? She was naive enough to think that Lin Yi would treat her well for the rest of his life. While the mother and daughter were worrying, a doctor in a white coat walked in and looked at Mrs. Tang. You're Tang Juqing and Tang Yun's family, right? You should pay for the surgery and hospital fees. The 10,000 yuan deposit isn't enough. Ah, not enough. Mrs. Tang didn't know what to do. This 10,000 yuan was borrowed from the slums. Her house was torn down, and Lin Yi's card was nowhere to be found. How was she going to pay for the medical fees? Yes, please pay as soon as possible. You need to pay at least 20,000 yuan. The doctor placed the receipt on the table in front of Mrs. Tang and walked out. Mrs. Tang looked at the receipt in front of her and didn't know what to do. Mom, do you have no money? Where's the money? Tang Yun saw her mother's expression and temporarily suppressed the grievances in her heart. I didn't bring the card and passbook with me. I don't know if I can find them. This 10,000 yuan is borrowed from Liu Xinwen's family. It's not enough. Mrs. Tang sighed. Now that our house is gone, and you and your dad are injured, how are we going to survive? No matter how hard their family had been in the past, they were never at a dead end. But now, they were at a dead end. Their house was gone, and they had no money. The card was in Lin Yi's name, and they couldn't report it. What would they do in the future? Mrs. Tang was worried when Liu Xinwen pushed the door open and ran in. She shouted, Yin Yun, how are you? How are you? You scared me to death. Liu Xinwen couldn't follow the ambulance, so she had to come here by herself. That was why she had only just arrived at the hospital. I'm fine. Tang Yun smiled bitterly and rubbed her eyes. She didn't want Xin Wen to see her crying. But Liu Xinwen wasn't blind. How could she not see the tear stains in Tang Yun's eyes? Yun, are you crying? Liu Xinwen exclaimed. What's wrong? What's the matter? Isn't the doctor fine now? Xinwen, I'm disfigured. Tang Yun couldn't hold it in anymore. She'd had enough. She wanted to cry now. She wouldn't be a pretty girl anymore. Compared to his father's broken leg, the consequences of Tang Yun's actions were much more serious. Tang Jucheng only had a fracture. It was nothing serious. As long as he recovered, he would be fine, but Tang Yun's face was disfigured. How could she accept it? Ah! Her face was disfigured. Xin Wen was also shocked. Tang Yun was the prettiest of the sisters. How could she be disfigured? 8 stitches on her forehead. Mrs. Tang smiled bitterly. Her home is gone, and her father's leg is broken. He still owes you money, and the hospital is asking for medical fees. How are we going to live like this? Did you tell Lin Yi? Liu Xinwen asked suddenly. Why would I look for him? Tang Yun felt wronged and almost cried again. Let Lin Yi see how pitiful she was. How could she? If Xiao Xiao came, she'd laugh at her and be happy that her face was disfigured. How could you not look for him when something like this happened? You idiot, hurry up and call him. Liu Xinwen was panicking. He doesn't want me anymore. Why would I look for him? Why would I rely on him? Tang Yun cried again. She was sad and wronged. I have to say, kid. They say that a day together means 100 days of love. I think he likes you. Why don't you try calling him? Our family is already like this. How are we going to live if we don't look for him? Mrs. Tang hesitated. Even if we don't want anything else, we should at least pay up that 500,000 yuan card, right? Like me? Like what? I'm disfigured. I don't even want to be his mistress anymore. How am I supposed to call him? Embarrass me? Tang Yun felt wronged. She didn't think that her mother would still be concerned about the breakup fee. Tang Yun felt wronged. His reaction was also intense. He straightened his neck and said angrily, he used to like you. Why don't you try? Mrs. Tang didn't want to give up. She was an adult. She had to think more. She couldn't just give up that 500,000 yuan. What would happen to the family if she gave it up? What do I have to try? What do I have to do? I owe him so much money. We didn't even do anything. How am I supposed to ask him? How am I supposed to pay him back? Tang Yun was panicking. Why don't you ask his girlfriend to be his mistress? Didn't his girlfriend agree? Mrs. Tang said after some hesitation. I don't want to. Mom, what kind of idea is this? I'm going to die if you say anything else. How can you embarrass me like that? I'm disfigured. Why would he agree to be his mistress? How am I supposed to live? How could Tang Yun agree? Wasn't she asking her to embarrass herself? Why are you so stubborn? You're playing with Zhao Qibing, and you're playing with Lin Yi. What's wrong with being a mistress? We don't even have a house. If you don't call us, we'll just wait for death. Mrs. Tang wasn't being unreasonable. This family was at their wits' end. What should she do? Mrs. Tang wanted her daughter to seduce Zhao Qibing. Giving them 2 stores and a house wasn't a bad idea. The problem was that her daughter was disfigured. Zhao Qibing wouldn't even want her, so Mrs. Tang turned her attention to Lin Yi. She thought that Lin Yi was in a relationship with her daughter. He had to care about her feelings, right? Even if her daughter was disfigured, he couldn't just ignore it, could he? Mrs. Tang couldn't be blamed for thinking that way. She was too poor. She was afraid of being bullied. When Lin Yi was around, Mrs. Tang was in the limelight. Even the people at the food street didn't dare to bully her. It gave her a sense of satisfaction, but after Lin Yi left, her family was bullied. Their house was torn down, their man's leg was broken, and their daughter's face was disfigured. They didn't even dare to reason with them. Mrs. Tang didn't want that. She wanted to live a rich and powerful life. Chapter 578. Chapter 578. Tang Yin's complicated thoughts. Who knew that her daughter would be disfigured? Mrs. Tang wanted her daughter to give it a try. At least it would give her hope. Then you're forcing me. I didn't beg him when I looked good. Now that I'm disfigured, how can I beg him? You want me to beg him to be his mistress? I'm not that shameless, I can't do it. With Tang Yin's personality, how could she do something like that? If it was before, Tang Yin would grit her teeth and reluctantly accept her mother forcing her to be a mistress. After all, she couldn't let go of this relationship. If Lin Yi apologized to her, Tang Yin's heart might really soften, but now that she was disfigured, wouldn't it be embarrassing to beg him to be a mistress? What would Lin Yi think of her? Tang Yin didn't want it. Mrs. Tang couldn't help but fall silent after hearing Tang Yin's words. She was indeed powerful. Although she was vain, Tang Yin was still her daughter. Hence, when Master Bing had his eyes on Tang Yin, she let Tang Yin choose herself. Since Tang Yin rejected, she naturally wouldn't force it. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was different. Mrs. Tang, naturally, could tell that her daughter liked Lin Yi. As far as she was concerned, it was only right for her daughter to go find Lin Yi. After all, her daughter had feelings for Lin Yi. Even if she wasn't worthy of Lin Yi and couldn't compare to Lin Yi's current girlfriend's family background, her daughter was still pretty, right? Being a mistress or a mistress was a bit unfair, but if her daughter was willing, Mrs. Tang naturally wouldn't say anything. There weren't many situations where you could have both love and bread. She had suffered for most of her life, pursuing an illusory love. She had seen too much of the fickleness of the world and the fickleness of human nature. She didn't want her daughter to walk the same path. Looking at the classmates of her age, some of them looked like they were in their 30s. Mrs. Tang secretly envied them. Back then, she was the school belle. Boys fought over her. But now, no one even talked to her during class gatherings. Mrs. Tang knew that this was the end of her life. It was her own choice to marry old Tang. After she had Tang Yun, it was impossible for her to get a divorce. Moreover, she had feelings for Tang Jucheng. Tang Yin, on the other hand, was different. Her daughter was only 18, the prime of her youth. If she could find a rich man she liked, then she'd have a bright future ahead of her. Otherwise, how would she be able to live a good life with her own efforts? It was true that there were people who changed their lives with their own efforts, but there were still many girls from poor families who couldn't find a job after graduation or couldn't find a good job. They were tempted by all kinds of society and walked on the evil path. If they were not prostitutes, they would become someone else's mistress. Otherwise, they would sleep with their superiors and clients for the sake of promotion and money. These were not uncommon. Mrs. Tang felt that her daughter wouldn't be at a disadvantage if she followed Lin Yi. This was also why she kept asking Tang Yun to find Lin Yi. However, she had calmed down now. Her daughter was right. She was already disfigured. Would Lin Yi still care about her? If he were to be rejected, how embarrassing would that be? With her daughter's unyielding personality, she'd probably kill herself. With that thought, Mrs. Tang didn't dare to force her daughter anymore. How about I go make the call? I'll go all out. I've been treated with a lot of disdain in my life anyways. Worst comes to worst, I'll just get insulted by Lin Yi. Mom, don't call. Tang Yun's heart trembled slightly when she heard her mother's words. Her resentment towards her mother disappeared in an instant. Her mother still loved her. Yes, her mother had suffered for most of her life. She planned this for her own sake. She didn't want her to live a poor life in the future. Although her mother's actions were a bit extreme, Tang Yun understood her mother at this moment. Yes, just a moment ago, Tang Yun watched as the bulldozer pushed into her yard and the trenching machine collapsed the roof of her house. At that moment, Tang Yun felt so helpless, so helpless. She wanted to fight against fate, but she couldn't. Tang Yun was powerless in front of a strong and evil person. She understood her mother now. She knew why her mother was so snobbish. This was reality. How could her mother not be snobbish? If she believed that Lin Yi was still her boyfriend, would he just sit and watch his house get destroyed? Zhu Ruoming wanted to do something to her, and after being taught a lesson by Lin Yi, the Zhu family was as scared as a grandson in front of her. He was one of the most powerful tycoons in Songshan. They didn't even dare to breathe in front of her. Yin, I have no choice. I don't want to see you suffer, Mrs. Tang sighed. Mom! Tang Yun cried. She cried so miserably. I know you're doing this for me, but I don't want to be so spineless. If Lin Yi doesn't want me, how can we go to him? If I didn't become like this, it'd be fine. If I owe too much, I'll find a way to pay it back. If I can't pay it back, I'll pay it back with my body. Mrs. Tang and Liu Xinwen's hearts ached as they looked at Tang Yun, but they still helped her. Auntie, why don't I talk to Lin Yi? I'm just a bystander. I don't care if I lose face or not. It's not a big deal if he rejects me. Xinwen thought about it. It was more appropriate for her to make this call. That's great. Xinwen, I'll be troubling you. Mrs. Tang was happy that Xinwen was willing to make the call. It might not be effective, but it was better than nothing. Lin Yi couldn't just ignore his daughter's relationship with him, right? Tang Yun bit her lips. She wanted to stop him, but she sighed. If she didn't talk to Lin Yi, she wouldn't know who else to talk to. In just a few short minutes, Tang Yun's mind was made up. Her house was gone, her father's leg was broken, and she was disfigured. Her family was in a terrible state. To use a more popular saying, could it be any more miserable? In fact, Tang Yun also wanted to see if Lin Yi cared about her. Tang Yun was looking forward to it. A girl's heart was always hard to understand, especially a girl in love. Xinwen picked up the phone and dialed a familiar number. Tang Yin's heart tensed up, and her breathing became labored. Wait, what's wrong, Yin Yin? Xinwen put down the phone and looked at Tang Yun strangely. Yin Yin, you should have asked him to come. Chapter 579. Shu the spy. Xinwen didn't want to talk about Tang Yin's disfigurement at first. She wanted Lin Yi to come first, but since Tang Yin asked, Xinwen could only comply. She understood that Tang Yin wanted to see if Lin Yi's feelings for her were real. If Lin Yi really loved Tang Yin, then even if Tang Yin wasn't pretty, Lin Yi wouldn't just ignore it. But if Lin Yi only wanted Tang Yin's beauty, then Lin Yi might just ignore it. Mrs. Tang knew what her daughter was thinking. She couldn't help but sigh. It seemed that whether or not Lin Yi would be able to control her daughter, it was up to fate. Xinwen saw that Tang Yin was determined and couldn't reject it. She picked up her phone again and called Lin Yi's number. The last class in the afternoon was a self-study class. Meng Yarrow was focused on her revision materials when Yushu whispered, Yarrow sis, I have good news and bad news for you. Which one do you want to hear first? Whatever. Meng Yarrow said faintly. Yarrow sis, why are you so calm? Yushu saw that Meng Yarrow didn't seem to be interested and was a little disappointed. Your good news and bad news are basically the same. It doesn't matter which one I hear. Meng Yarrow had gotten to know Yushu very well after all these years, and she knew that Yushu's good news and bad news were all normal news, just a little exaggerated. Meng Yarrow had been lying to her a few times before, but now, she was calm. This news is different. It's about Shield Bro. Yushu whispered mysteriously. Oh. Meng Yarrow raised her eyebrows subtly and said faintly, what about Lin Yi? What good news does he have? Hee. Yushu smiled when she saw that Meng Yarrow was interested. The good news is that I heard that Lin Yi and Tang Yin broke up. Yarrow sis, you have a chance. Meng Yarrow was speechless, but in her heart, she was happy. Was she happy? Meng Yarrow didn't know what to say. What kind of good news is this? If there's a chance, it should be you. You've kissed him before, and he's even seen you naked. I want to, but if the main wife doesn't do it, the second wife can't do it either. Yushu said nonchalantly, you've kissed me before, indirectly. Let's not talk about this. Meng Yarrow didn't want to talk about it, but the feeling of disgust was gone. Thinking back to how strong her reaction was, Meng Yarrow felt sweet instead. Then what's the bad news? That Xiao Xiao seems to be Shield Bro's new girlfriend. Yushu said. How do you know? Where did you get this information? How come I didn't know about it? Meng Yarrow asked curiously. Don't forget, I'm the spy, Shu 007. Yushu said proudly, I knew it as soon as I asked around. Meng Yarrow couldn't help but smile. Spy Shu. Shu the B** starred, right? Looking at your face, do you like Lin Yi? Why would I like him? It's Yarrow sis who likes him, and as the second wife, I can only train myself to like him. Yushu said. Let's read. Meng Yaro glanced at Yushu before turning back to the materials in front of her, but she didn't flip a single page for a long time. Yushu, on the other hand, took out a workbook and started flipping through it quickly, writing and drawing on it from time to time. Meng Yaro frowned. Her best friend's mentality wasn't something normal people could understand. Lin Yi was planning to skip the evening class and go to Tang Yun's house when the phone in his pocket vibrated. He took it out and saw that it was Xin Wen. Hello. Lin Yi picked up. Lin Yi, it's Xin Wen. Xin Wen took a deep breath, her tone unfriendly. Although Tang Yun was looking at her, Xin Wen couldn't control her emotions. After all, Tang Yun was her good friend, so no matter how powerful this heartless Lin Yi was, she had to stand up for Tang Yun. Xin Wen's personality was like that. If it weren't for Master Bing's group running fast, Xin Wen would have grabbed a cleaver and started chopping them. Her reckless and impulsive personality was also very loyal to her friends. Xin Wen. What's the matter? Lin Yi blinked, not understanding why Xin Wen was looking for him at this time. Tang Yun is in trouble at Songshan's First People's Hospital. Her forehead is injured, and she needs 8 stitches. If I'm not mistaken, her face is disfigured. Xin Wen was about to ask Lin Yi if this heartless guy still cared about Tang Yun, but Lin Yi interrupted her. What? Tang Yun is injured. Wait for me, I'll be right there. Lin Yi didn't wait for Xin Wen to finish and rushed out of the classroom with the phone. Tang Yun was Lin Yi's first real girlfriend. Although Lin Yi wasn't good at sweet-talking, he had already treated Tang Yun as his woman. Tang Yun was injured, and this made Lin Yi's heart tighten. Is there any other problem with her? Is the injury serious? Which ward are you in? Lin Yi's continuous questions made Xin Wen stunned. Before she called, she had already made several assumptions, but they were all based on Lin Yi's indifference, evasiveness, or unwillingness. She didn't expect Lin Yi to be so anxious. She hadn't even explained what was going on, and Lin Yi was coming. However, this also made Xin Wen feel relieved. This Lin Yi wasn't that despicable after all. At least she was worried about Tang Yun, unlike Kang Ming who treated Xiaofan as a plaything and never had any real feelings for her. So, in Xin Wen's heart, Lin Yi could be forgiven. After all, many rich kids didn't have the freedom to decide their own marriages. Although they might have found their true love, under the pressure of their families, they had to give it up and be with someone their family arranged. From Xin Wen's perspective, Feng Xiaoxiao's family might be special, and she might be able to help Lin Yi. So, Lin Yi had no choice but to be with her, and under Feng Xiaoxiao's pressure, he gave up Tang Yun. She's in room 512 of the second inpatient department. Xin Wen told Lin Yi the room number. No other injuries, just disfigurement. I understand. Lin Yi let out a breath of relief, but he was still nervous. How did this happen? Chapter 580. Clarifying the misunderstanding suddenly, Xin Wen's childishness came to her, and she purposely kept her phone to herself. What? What did he say? Tang Yun's heart tightened as she looked at Xin Wen nervously. Lin Yi. Xin Wen dragged out the words on purpose. He's so nervous, he said he'll be here soon. Ah. Tang Yun's heart warmed, but her face reddened as she glared at Xin Wen. You're making me nervous on purpose. Seeing her mother's smile, Tang Yun was even more certain that Xin Wen was doing it on purpose. Xin Wen was sitting on the bed when she made the call. She was quite far away from Tang Yun, so she couldn't hear what Lin Yi said on the phone. But Mrs. Tang was sitting next to Xin Wen, so naturally, she could hear what Lin Yi was saying. Yun, it seems like Lin Yi still likes you. I say, is there some kind of misunderstanding here? Xin Wen calmed down. Lin Yi's nervousness wasn't fake. He was genuinely worried about Tang Yun. Lin Yi had always been calm and collected. Even if something happened, he wouldn't be like this. It was probably only because of Tang Yun that he would be this nervous, right? I don't know. Tang Yun was a little shy, but her heart was filled with sweetness. Did he really care about her? Did he love her? Would he care about her if her face was disfigured? But what was up with Xiao Xiao? Tang Yun's heart started to worry again. As for whether or not she would be disfigured, Tang Yun didn't think about it anymore. Yeah, Yin, I think Lin Yi likes you. Maybe I'll talk to him later and see what that girlfriend of his is thinking. What's his attitude towards her? Mrs. Tang was happy as well. I heard that a lot of big families' marriages are unfortunate. Those men have lovers outside, and they like their lovers, not their wives. If that's the case, you still have a chance. Mom, what nonsense are you talking about? Tang Yun's mood was much better now, so she wasn't as conflicted as before when her mother joked. Lin Yi rushed out of the school, got into his car, and rushed to the First People's Hospital. He called Fatty Lai on the way. Fatty Lai, are you back yet? I just got back. I'm on my way back to the company to discuss the product launch. We've already received tens of millions of orders. Fatty Lai was very happy. It was only the first day and they'd already received so many orders. Of course, many of them were related to the families at the auction, so they were the first to receive the news. Do you have injury medicine with you? Bring a bottle to Ward 512 of the second inpatient department of the First People's Hospital. Hurry up. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment and said, bring a bottle of painkiller too. The injury medicine was already in mass production, so Fatty Lai had a lot of samples in his hands. Although the painkiller wasn't in mass production yet, he still had some samples. However, the special edition injury medicine was gone. Lin Yi had just returned, so he didn't have time to reconfigure it. However, Tang Yun's injury was new, so she didn't need the special edition injury medicine. In fact, the doctors at the First People's Hospital also knew that Tang Yun's injury was cured with Dr. Kang's Golden Creation medicine. However, Dr. Kang's Golden Creation medicine wasn't something ordinary people could buy. It was priceless, and even the hospital didn't have it, so they didn't mention it. Yes, I'll be right there. Fatty Lai didn't say much. He received Lin Yi's order and immediately went to execute it. This was Fatty Lai's personality. He listened to Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi didn't care about the traffic lights anymore. He directly drove to the hospital. Even if he was caught by the camera, Fatty Lai would pay for it. Lin Yi didn't care about the fine anymore. Tang Yun was more important than that. He rushed into the ward. For the first time, Lin Yi's emotions weren't calm. He didn't even greet Mrs. Tang and Liu Xinwen. He directly held Tang Yun's hand. Tang Yun, what happened to you? Why were you so careless? Tang Yun saw the deep concern in Lin Yi's eyes. She blushed slightly. Her heart was filled with sweetness. However, out of shyness, she wanted to pull her hand away from Lin Yi's big hand. You. Let go of me. What are you doing here? What if Xiao Xiao finds out? Xiao Xiao? Lin Yi blinked. She's your girlfriend now, what am I? Although Tang Yun was confused by Lin Yi's expression, she couldn't help but blame him. Ha! My girlfriend? Since when did she become my girlfriend? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard Tang Yun's words. My girlfriend is you. When did it become her? Mrs. Tang and Xin Wen, on the other hand, froze at the words. Tang Yun was so shocked that she didn't know what to say. Her heart was filled with happiness. Tang Yun had already prepared for the worst-case scenario. Her mother wanted her to be Lin Yi's mistress. To be honest, Tang Yun didn't want to reject it, but it wasn't from the bottom of her heart. If it was forced, she could accept it. But Lin Yi's words made Tang Yun overjoyed. It didn't matter if Lin Yi was lying to her or if he was telling the truth. Tang Yun was already very happy. At least this meant that Lin Yi still cared about her. Before, she told me that she's your girlfriend, and the money you gave my mom was my breakup fee. Tang Yun told him what happened in a small voice, including how she broke her phone. Lin Yi was speechless. He didn't know what to say. So he gave that money to the wrong person. This Xiao Xiao was just in time to get a breakup fee. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. Don't you know what Xiao Xiao's like? She's crazy all the time, and she dares to do anything. How could you believe her words? Tang Yun heard Lin Yi's explanation and knew that she misunderstood. She was speechless. However, Tang Yun felt a little ashamed. She was right, she didn't trust Lin Yi. If she had trusted him, wouldn't all of this have happened? But a girl's heart was sensitive, especially a girl who had just fallen in love. She was afraid of losing her lover. Tang Yun couldn't be blamed for being suspicious. Who told things to happen so coincidentally? Mrs. Tang, on the other hand, was grinning from ear to ear. It looked like it was all a misunderstanding. She couldn't help but blame her daughter. How could she be so petty? Even if Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi did something, she shouldn't have given up, right? You have to hold on. You have to hold on to happiness. How could you give up just like that? Chapter 581. Lin Yi's anger, but I'm already disfigured. Tang Yun suddenly thought of her current situation and felt sad. It was true that Lin Yi liked her, but would he still like her after seeing her like this? Tang Yun wasn't sure. After all, when Lin Yi first came into contact with her, it must be because of her beauty, right? Ha! Lin Yi suddenly laughed. What are you laughing at? Are you laughing at me? Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi angrily. So what if I'm disfigured? Lin Yi shrugged. Then, what I'm asking is, do you still want me? Tang Yun stared at Lin Yi. Of course, why not? Lin Yi nodded. Tang Yun didn't know what to say. What did Lin Yi mean? At that moment, Fatty Lai entered the ward, panting. It must have been hard on him. He had a body full of fat, but he ran like the wind. Boss, I'm here. Fatty Lai held 2 boxes and walked to Lin Yi. When he looked down, he saw Tang Yun on the bed. He was shocked. Sister-in-law, what's wrong? How did you get hurt? This was what Lin Yi wanted to know as well, but he didn't have the time yet. Lin Yi had just resolved the misunderstanding with Tang Yun, and now that Fatty Lai had brought the medicine over, Lin Yi naturally had to treat Tang Yun first. He didn't want Tang Yun to be disfigured. We'll talk about this later. Lin Yi took the boxes from Fatty Lai and said to Tang Yun, I'll apply some medicine for you. Okay. Tang Yun nodded without thinking. She was in a sweet and happy mood. She knew that Lin Yi wouldn't harm her, so she would cooperate with whatever Lin Yi wanted to do. Lin Yi helped Tang Yun up and started removing the bandage on her head, scaring Mrs. Tang and Xin Wen. Lin Yi, what are you doing? Mrs. Tang asked as she watched Lin Yi remove the bandage on her daughter's head. Heal the wounds. Lin Yi replied. His hands didn't stop moving as he quickly removed the gauze. It might have touched the wound on Tang Yun's head. Tang Yun's body trembled slightly and she couldn't help but frown. There was a horrifying wound on Tang Yun's forehead. Although it had been stitched up, it was still horrifying. Lin Yi's heart ached. How could this girl be so careless? Fortunately, I have injury medicine. Otherwise, wouldn't I really be disfigured? Don't worry, it won't hurt soon. Lin Yi opened the box and applied the painkiller evenly on Tang Yun's forehead. This kind of painkiller could be taken orally and applied externally. Mrs. Tang was a bit scared. She didn't know what Lin Yi was going to do, but she didn't dare to stop him. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't harm her daughter. If Lin Yi didn't really like her daughter, he could just ignore her since she was in this state. Why would he go through all this trouble? Xin Wen, on the other hand, was much calmer. When she sent Xiaofan to the hospital, Lin Yi's amazing acupuncture was still fresh in her mind. Tang Yun also said that Lin Yi knew medicine, so Xin Wen thought that Lin Yi was definitely treating Tang Yun. After applying the painkiller, Tang Yun was shocked to find that her forehead didn't hurt anymore. How was this possible? She couldn't help but look at Lin Yi in shock. It was unbelievable. Lin Yi quickly removed the stitches on Tang Yun's forehead, and the wound opened up. Blood flowed out, but Lin Yi wasn't in a rush. He slowly applied the ointment on the wound, and it didn't take long for the bleeding to stop. After doing all this, Lin Yi wrapped the gauze on Tang Yun's forehead again and smiled. It's done. You won't be disfigured anymore. Lin Yi was too lazy to use painkillers on the female assassin Yang Chichi or himself. This kind of wound was nothing. He could just apply the injury medicine directly. But Tang Yun couldn't. She didn't have professional training. This kind of pain was hard to bear. Not anymore. Tang Yun heard Lin Yi's words. She was surprised and happy, but she also felt that it was unbelievable. Not anymore. Lin Yi nodded. This is my company's first product. It's called injury medicine. It has the same effect as Dr. Kang's golden creation. Mrs. Tang didn't believe that her daughter wouldn't be disfigured, but after hearing Lin Yi's words, she believed it. Dr. Kang's golden creation was famous. But this wasn't a product that normal people like them could buy. It was a limited supply of miraculous medicine. It was hard to buy even if you had to go through a lot of channels. It was said that after applying it, the wound would heal quickly without leaving any scars. It was amazing. Ha. Tang Yun finally put down her worries. She couldn't help but like Lin Yi even more. Being his girlfriend was great. She wouldn't have to disfigure herself. Just take a sip of this painkiller if you feel any pain later, Lin Yi said as he handed the painkiller to Mrs. Tang. One night, and you'll be able to remove the bandages. That's fast, Mrs. Tang exclaimed. At the same time, her mind became active again. Lil Yi, your Uncle Tang's legs were broken. Is there any way to help him recover faster? Uncle Tang is injured too? Lin Yi paused. His face became serious. Before, he thought that Tang Yun's injury was an accident, so he didn't think much about it. But now that Mrs. Tang said that Tang Juqing was injured as well, Lin Yi started to suspect something, especially when Mrs. Tang said that she was injured. Could there be something going on? What happened? How did Tang Yun and Uncle Tang get injured? Well, it's like this. Mrs. Tang didn't think about asking Lin Yi to help them. After all, from her point of view, those people were like mafia members. They did whatever they wanted, and normal people couldn't afford to offend them. She told Lin Yi that it was because her house collapsed. She wanted Lin Yi to help solve it. Otherwise, where would she live in the future? Mrs. Tang told Lin Yi everything that happened. She didn't dare hide anything from him. She told him about how she was greedy for money and how she wanted to get the store. If there wasn't a cause, then why would there be such a thing? After listening to Mrs. Tang's story, Lin Yi's face darkened. In his heart, he was already extremely furious. These people dared to treat Tang Yun like this. They had crossed Lin Yi's bottom line. Lin Yi was infuriated. Master Bing. Very good. Chapter 582. Completion Ceremony Boss. Zhao Qibing is a very famous young master in our province. His family background is very mysterious. I heard that he's related to the hidden houses. Li Zihua from Songshan is his subordinate. Fatty Lai was afraid that Lin Yi would act rashly and quickly revealed Zhao Qibing's background. I heard that he's a bastard child, but there's no proof. What's a hidden house? Lin Yi didn't seem to care about what Fatty Lai said. Hidden houses are more mysterious than the 4 big and 5 small houses. No one knows the names of these houses except for House Yu. I heard that they're a branch of a hidden house, or that House Yu itself is a branch of a hidden house, Fatty Lai said with a serious expression. But the hidden houses are stronger than these noble houses. It's just that they rarely interfere with the affairs of the common world. Oh. Lin Yi nodded expressionlessly. You don't have to say that. Just tell me where Zhao Qibing is. Fatty Lai froze. He knew that Lin Yi was determined to touch Zhao Qibing. He said helplessly, Zhao Qibing established a Qibing real estate company in Songshan. The Qibing skyscraper was just completed today. Zhao Qibing is holding a completion ceremony at the Qibing restaurant in front of the skyscraper. He invited a lot of famous people in Songshan. I received an invitation as well. Completion. Lin Yi smiled coldly. Fatty Lai, go find some trenching machines and bulldozers. We're going to meet this Master Bing. Lin Yi's tone was filled with certainty. Fatty Lai knew that no matter what background Zhao Qibing had, he wouldn't be able to stop his boss's anger. However, Fatty Lai was firm. Since his boss was going to touch Zhao Qibing, as his follower, he had to take the lead. He had decided to follow Lin Yi. He didn't care if Zhao Qibing was from a hidden house. Yes, boss. Fatty Lai was in the real estate business. Naturally, he had an engineering team. It wasn't hard to find some bulldozers and trenching machines. Tang Yun was shocked after hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi, what are you doing? Don't cause trouble. Let's go see Uncle Tang first. Lin Yi didn't respond to Tang Yun's words. He understood Tang Yun's worry, but Lin Yi's mind was set. If someone dared to touch Tang Yun, how could Lin Yi let them go so easily? Tang Yun saw that Lin Yi didn't reply. She knew that Lin Yi wanted revenge for her, but she was afraid that Lin Yi wasn't a match. Lin Yi didn't know that Chibing was from the 4 big and 5 small houses. That sounded very scary. And that Zhao Chibing was related to a hidden house that was even more powerful than the 4 big and 5 small houses. How could Tang Yun not be nervous? She didn't need to be disfigured anymore, and naturally, she wanted to be with him peacefully. She didn't want him to cause any more trouble. Lin Yi. Tang Yun was touched, but she was afraid that something would happen to Lin Yi. What would she do if something happened to Lin Yi? Hair. Lin Yi sneered. He should have considered the consequences before he touched you. Don't kill people. Tang Yun knew that Lin Yi was strong, and when he was angry, he wouldn't care about the consequences. She was afraid that Lin Yi would cause trouble. She would rather not have Lin Yi stand up for her. Murder. Lin Yi was startled. In his heart, he had already blacklisted Master Bing, but Tang Yun's words reminded Lin Yi. If it were the old him, Chibing would have been nothing but a shrimp in his eyes, someone he could kill with a wave of his hand. There wouldn't be any consequences even if he was killed, but it was a little difficult to kill Zhao Chibing in front of everyone. However, even if he could avoid death, he couldn't escape punishment. There were many ways to turn someone into a living dead, and there was no need for Lin Yi to be wanted by the police just to kill Zhao Chibing. I won't kill him today. When Lin Yi said that, he already treated Zhao Chibing as a dead man. Even if he didn't die today, he would die in the future. However, Lin Yi wouldn't say that to Tang Yun. He said, let's see Uncle Tang first. Tang Yun sighed. She didn't understand the hidden meaning in Lin Yi's words, but she knew that Lin Yi wouldn't let Zhao Chibing go easily. However, would this cause trouble? Mrs. Tang accompanied Lin Yi to Tang Jucheng's room. Mr. Tang knew that his daughter had broken up with Lin Yi, so he was surprised to see Lin Yi. However, seeing that Lin Yi was still as respectful as before, Tang Jucheng found it strange. However, Mrs. Tang was here, so Tang Jucheng didn't ask too much. He planned to ask about the details later. Lin Yi checked on Tang Jucheng's condition. It was just a broken bone, but it was already connected. It was no big deal. However, Lin Yi quickly wrote down a prescription and gave it to Mrs. Tang. Get the medicine according to this prescription. Take it in the morning and night, 1 medicine a day, and you'll recover in a month. It's just a neurological problem. I need to get the medicine from my hometown. Okay. Mrs. Tang took the prescription carefully. She was very grateful to Lin Yi. Mrs. Tang had seen her daughter's miraculous ability to stop pain in an instant, so she trusted Lin Yi even more now. If Lin Yi said that it would be fine, then it must be fine. After saying goodbye to Mrs. Tang and Tang Yun, Lin Yi walked out of the hospital, but his face was dark. Although Lin Yi didn't know what the hidden house was, Lin Yi was never afraid of anyone. It didn't matter if they were from a hidden house or not. He would deal with Zhao Chibing first. Boss, the bulldozer and trenching machine are ready. I've also contacted the demolition team. Fatty Lai guessed what Lin Yi wanted to do. Lin Yi nodded. That completion ceremony, when does it start? 6 at night, Fatty Lai said. Oh, it's already started. Let's go. Lin Yi looked at the time on his phone. Fatty Lai didn't drive his own car. He got on Lin Yi's broken van. He had to give Lin Yi directions. As for the trenching machine, bulldozer, and the demolition team, Fatty Lai had already called them to be on standby near Chibing's skyscraper. Zhao Chibing had long forgotten about the unhappiness in the morning. Other than feeling that it was a pity that a girl as beautiful as a goddess had her face ruined, he didn't have any other thought. To him, the people in the slums were no different from ants. It was a piece of cake to stomp them to death. Right now, he had more important things to do. Today was a big day for Chibing real estate. Chapter 583. Tit for tat. Among them were Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, and the disciples of the 5 small noble houses. The 4 noble houses didn't live near Jiangshan, so they couldn't participate. However, one disciple from House Sun came. Wu Chentian was originally in Songshan as well, but old Wu had just been discharged from the hospital, so he had to deal with some family matters before coming back. But even so, it made the completion ceremony a lot more exciting. Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, the disciples of the 5 small noble houses, house son. These people all had strong social connections, and so they brought a lot of people with them. The lobby of Chibbing Hotel was already bustling with noise and excitement. Chibbing stood on the stage, raising his glass high, very pleased with the current situation. These people represented the various powers in Songshan, and even the province. This meant that his business in Songshan would definitely be very successful in the future. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the completion ceremony of Chibbing Real Estate's office building, Chibbing Skyscraper. Let us raise our glasses and celebrate this joyous moment. Chibbing raised his glass and continued, let us drink this glass of wine and open the Chibbing Skyscraper together. The guests raised their glasses as well, drinking with Chibbing. But at that moment, there was a sudden explosion that made everyone jump in fright. Following the loud noise was an earthquake that shook the mountains. Someone shouted, "It's collapsing. The skyscraper outside is collapsing." Chibbing looked towards the direction of the shout and saw that the newly completed skyscraper, which hadn't been opened yet, collapsed with a loud noise. There were many bulldozers and trenching machines around the skyscraper, not only destroying the facilities around it, but also the parking lot and landscaping around the skyscraper. In the blink of an eye, a 10,000-meter tall skyscraper was flattened. Chibbing's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost, but he quickly reacted. Someone was demolishing his skyscraper. Chibbing couldn't care less about the guests and rushed out of the restaurant, but Uncle Zhu followed him closely. Lin Yi stood in between the skyscraper and the restaurant, watching coldly as Chibbing's skyscraper was flattened. If you tear down Tang Yun's house, I'll tear down your skyscraper. Fatty Lai had been building for many years, but this was the first time he'd torn down a building that had just been built. Seeing a 10,000-meter tall building collapse in an instant, he was overjoyed. Only Big Boss would be able to do something like this. Who are you? What are you doing? Chibbing's eyes were about to spit fire. He didn't know where these people came from, but they were tearing down his newly built building the moment they arrived. How could Chibbing not be hysterical? You're Zhao Chibbing? Lin Yi looked at him coldly. That's right. Chibbing took a deep breath, regaining his calmness. If the person in front of him knew who he was, then he should know who he was. Even then, they still dared to come and tear down his building. What was the meaning of that? Although Zhao Chibbing wanted to tear Lin Yi's body into a million pieces right now, he was the one who made him look bad. The completion ceremony turned into a demolition ceremony. This made Zhao Chibbing lose a lot of face. It was even more humiliating than before. I'm Tang Yun's boyfriend. Lin Yi nodded and said faintly, you destroyed her house, but you still owe me a pair of legs. I'll also disfigure your face. Tang Yun. Chibbing froze, but after hearing Lin Yi say that he destroyed her house, disfigured her face, and owed her a pair of legs, he knew who Lin Yi was talking about. Wasn't it the pretty girl he had his eyes on this morning? But Chibbing didn't expect that Tang Yun had such a powerful boyfriend. These bulldozers and trenching machines couldn't be gathered by normal people in such a short amount of time. Lin Yi didn't give him a chance to speak. He walked towards him step by step. You won't live past this year. Uncle Zhu, kill him. Chibbing didn't put Lin Yi in his eyes. Lin Yi had already made him lose all his face. If he didn't kill Lin Yi to vent his anger, then he wouldn't be able to raise his head in front of all these people. As for the consequences of killing Lin Yi, Chibbing didn't need to think about it. These people knew his background, and they wouldn't dare to say anything. Plus, these people's underlings weren't that clean, and they wouldn't expose Chibbing. Lin Yi ignored Chibbing and continued walking towards him. Uncle Zhu moved and slapped towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi's eyes flashed with a strange light as he blocked Uncle Zhu's attack with his palm. With a loud bang, Uncle Zhu took a few steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. His breathing stagnated. Uncle Zhu looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Mystic class. This person was a mystic class as well. Lin Yi's throat felt sweet, but he didn't retreat. He continued to approach Chibbing step by step. Chibbing was dumbfounded as well. He knew how strong Uncle Zhu was. He was a mystic class master. It wasn't a common sight in the family, and it was precisely because of his father's love for him that he sent Uncle Zhu to take care of him. But a master like that was pushed back by Lin Yi with just one palm, and even made him spit blood. How was this possible? This young man in front of him wasn't even 20 years old, right? Uncle Zhu wanted to rush over to save Chibing, but he had just exchanged a palm strike with Lin Yi, and suffered quite a bit of internal injury. His breathing hadn't stabilized yet, and he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even speak. Chibing was finally afraid. He was arrogant, but he wasn't an idiot. Someone who could push Uncle Zhu back was a piece of cake for him. He turned around, not caring about his face anymore. He wanted to run. However, Lin Yi stood in front of him. "Leave your legs," Lin Yi said faintly. "I'm a descendant of House Zhao, you can't do this." Chibing revealed his identity. "My father is Zhao Guangyin." "Who's Zhao Guangyin? I don't know him. Is he Zhao Guangyin's brother?" Lin Yi slapped Chibing's head, making him look unrecognizable. Blood flowed from his face, and he didn't know where he was injured. How strong was Lin Yi's strength? Zhao Chibing's head flipped and he fainted. But in the next moment, Zhao Chibing woke up again as he clearly felt the pain in his legs and the crisp sound of his bones breaking. Crack, crack. Chibing fainted again. Chapter 584. Lin Yi was injured. Let go of Master Bing. Uncle Zhu had finished adjusting his breathing and quickly stood in front of Lin Yi. "Mystic early phase, I know your strength. Although you're stronger than me, I will protect Master Bing with my life." Lin Yi smiled coldly as he glanced at Master Bing on the ground, then at Uncle Zhu. "I've done what I wanted to do. Let's leave Songshan City, or else I might remember what he did." Threat. This was a blatant threat. Uncle Zhu's face changed. Ever since he entered Mystic class, he had never been threatened by anyone. One had to know that in the common world, Mystic class masters were rare, but this young man in front of him, who looked less than 20 years old, had the strength of an early phase Mystic class. "Don't be too arrogant. With your strength, you're not strong enough." But before Uncle Zhu could finish, Lin Yi had already turned around and left. Ignored. It was another blatant disregard. This made Uncle Zhu's face turn even uglier. However, he had no other choice. If he fought with Lin Yi, it was hard to say who would die. Uncle Zhu had no way to deal with him. What's more, he was like a crossbow that was forced to stand. He felt that he could fall to the ground at any time. Lin Yi got into the van. Fatty Lai, who was already waiting in the car, gave him a thumbs up. "Boss, you're too awesome. You dared to cripple Zhao Chibing's legs in this situation. Drive." Lin Yi spat out a mouthful of blood onto the windshield of the van. He started coughing non-stop. "Boss, what's wrong?" Fatty Lai was shocked. He thought that Lin Yi was very powerful just now. Who knew that Lin Yi was injured? "Drive, hurry and find a quiet place," Lin Yi panted as he ordered Fatty Lai. Fatty Lai nodded and didn't dare to delay. He quickly started the car and disappeared from the Chibing skyscraper. Fatty Lai wanted to send Lin Yi to the hospital, but on second thought, Lin Yi was a miracle doctor. Why would he go to the hospital? He naturally had his reasons for wanting her to go to a quieter place. With that in mind, Fatty Lai sped towards his villa. Lin Yi had been holding his breath until now. His only thought was to avenge Tang Yun. That was why he didn't show any signs of injury after taking Uncle Zhu's attack. He did want to do something to Zhao Chibing, but he couldn't take it anymore. Lin Yi didn't think that a bastard would have an early Mystic class master by his side. Were Mystic class masters too cheap, or were those hidden families too powerful? He had underestimated his opponent. He thought that he could kill Zhao Chibing this year, but he didn't. Making someone die slowly was Lin Yi's specialty. Lin Yi said that he wouldn't kill Zhao Chibing today, but that didn't mean that he wouldn't kill him tomorrow or in the future. Lin Yi felt an indescribable discomfort. His internal organs had shifted. An early-stage Mystic class master could be said to be on the same level as Lin Yi. It was just that Lin Yi practiced the art of dragon mastery, so he was able to take the hit and break Zhao Chibing's legs. Uncle Zhu, on the other hand, almost fainted. When they reached Fatty Lai's villa, Fatty Lai didn't bother to lock his car. In fact, he wouldn't lose his car even if he didn't lock it. Fatty Lai helped Lin Yi back to the villa, and Fatty Lai's wife jumped in fright. She wanted to ask something, but Fatty Lai glared back at her. Fatty Lai helped Lin Yi into the guest room. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Guard the door, don't let anyone disturb me. Yes, boss. Fatty Lai nodded and closed the door for Lin Yi. Lin Yi fell onto the bed and entered the jade space. Only by absorbing a large amount of pure energy could he recover quickly. Fortunately, he had this treasure. If it was a normal person, they would die without any elixirs in the outside world. In fact, Uncle Zhu felt like he was about to die. It was only after Lin Yi left that Sihua dared to run over. He knew how strong Lin Yi was, after all. Even 2 golden class masters had fallen to his hands. He didn't know how strong this Uncle Zhu was, but the fact that he was with Master Bing meant that he was stronger than the 2 golden class masters from before. Could he be a mystic class master? Sihua didn't dare imagine. Someone as strong as him was beaten to the point of vomiting blood by Lin Yi? What kind of strength did Lin Yi have? Master Bing, how are you? Sihua ran over to check on Chibing's injuries. After all, it was fine if Uncle Zhu died, but if Chibing died, it would be a huge problem. Master Bing is fine, just a broken leg. I can't hold on anymore. Call the head and ask Yarawang to save me. Uncle Zhu knew his situation. If he didn't have elixirs and relied on his own recovery, he would die in a few days. Sihua jumped in fright, quickly dialing up the househead's number after hearing Uncle Zhu's words. Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, and the others who were watching from the back were also shocked at Lin Yi's boldness. He dared to hurt someone in public. Of course, Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, and the others, including Sihua, didn't know Uncle Zhu's true strength. Jian Wen, Tai Zhao, and the others would be shocked if they knew that Uncle Zhu was a mystic, right? This Lin Yi was too strong, defeating a mystic class master in one hit. They didn't see that Lin Yi was injured, so they thought that Uncle Zhu was just a useless bodyguard. But at this moment, no one dared to come over. Everyone knew about Master Bing's mysterious background, so wouldn't they embarrass Master Bing even more? Wouldn't they be asking for trouble? The completion ceremony of Chibing's skyscraper had become a joke. Completion? What completion? The house had already been demolished by others. Sihua didn't think that Lin Yi would be this ruthless. Not only did he bring people to demolish Chibing's skyscraper, but he even broke Master Bing's legs. How could this person be so unscrupulous? Sihua thought that he was already a very domineering person in Songshan, but compared to Lin Yi, he was still a far cry. Thinking back to the time when he threatened Lin Yi, Sihua couldn't help but feel a little scared. If Lin Yi really wanted to make things difficult for him, then the floating cloud bar would be gone, wouldn't it? Sihua sighed. It seemed that he had underestimated this opponent too much. This Lin Yi was someone that Pengzhan could find, so he was obviously not an ordinary person. Chapter 585. What's the matter? Oh, little Li, what's up? It was the deep male voice that came from the other side of the phone. This person was Zhao Guangyin, the young master of House Zhao. Behind him was the old man of House Zhao, which was why Guangyin didn't dare to openly acknowledge Zhao Qibing as his illegitimate son. Boss, it's bad. Master Bing's face and legs were broken. Uncle Zhu was injured as well, and Qibing's skyscraper was destroyed. Sihua couldn't hide the shock in his heart as he spoke. There was a moment of silence on the other side of the phone, followed by Guangyin's incredulous voice. What did you say? Little Bing's legs were broken, and Mr. Zhu was injured. How is that possible? Mr. Zhu is an early-phase mystic class master. It's rare even in the common world. Are you having a fever? How could little Bing become enemies with someone like that? Ah! Early-phase mystic class? Sihua's mouth opened wide in shock once more. He knew that Uncle Zhu was very strong. After all, Master Bing's men couldn't be weaker than the 2 golden class masters Guangyin sent to him, right? But now that he heard Guangyin say that Uncle Zhu was an early-phase mystic class master, Sihua was shocked once more. Someone as strong as him was injured so badly by Lin Yi's attack that he couldn't take it anymore? What kind of existence was Lin Yi? Was he stronger than an early-phase mystic class master? Give me the phone, I'll talk to the master. Uncle Zhu started channeling his practitioner's arts, adjusting his breathing and recovering some of his stamina as he signaled to Sihua. Sihua hurriedly passed the phone to Uncle Zhu. Guangyin would only believe Uncle Zhu's word. In fact, Sihua didn't believe that a 19-year-old boy like Lin Yi could defeat Uncle Zhu. This world was too crazy, or were mystic class masters so worthless? Mr. Zhu, I'm Guangyin. How are you? Guangyin still couldn't believe that Uncle Zhu was injured. It was too unbelievable. He had only been in Songshan for a few days. How did Qibing meet such a strong opponent? To be able to injure a mystic class master, he must be a reclusive old geezer, right? These old fellows were all pursuing greater strength, so how could they have the mind to pay attention to the trivial matters of the secular world? Patriarch, it's me. I can only hold on for 2 more days. I've suffered internal injuries. Please ask the Medicine King to save me. Uncle Zhu's tone was very weak. Without any miraculous pills and medicines, the natural energy of nature is not enough to heal my injuries. What? It was only after hearing Uncle Zhu's words that Guangyin completely believed Sihua's words. Uncle Zhu was injured. Moreover, his injuries were not light. But hearing that Uncle Zhu could still hold on for 2 more days, Zhao Guangyin let out a sigh of relief. He was glad that Uncle Zhu could recover. Uncle Zhu was only in his 40s, and he was one of the most promising experts in the family to advance into the Earth class. If he really died like this, and it was because of his illegitimate son, then his position as the head of the family would be shaken. Zhao Guangyin took a deep breath and asked, "How is Xiao Bing?" Master Bing doesn't have any fatal injuries. Both his legs are broken, and his face is disfigured. But with Yarawang personally treating him, there shouldn't be any side effects, Uncle Zhu said. That's good. Hearing that his son was fine, Zhao Guangyin finally let out a sigh of relief. I'll ask Yarawang to go over right now. Also, I want to know the cause of this incident and what happened. I'll let Sihua tell you about this. Uncle Zhu didn't know much about the cause and what happened, because he didn't need to know. His duty was to protect Master Bing's safety, and as for the company's operations, he didn't care. So until now, Uncle Zhu still didn't know how Zhao Qibing made such a big enemy. One had to know that a mystic class master, although the hidden noble houses wouldn't pay attention to him, but in the secular world, in the 4 big and 5 small noble houses, he was an extremely powerful existence. He was someone who could do whatever he wanted, and all the heads of the noble houses had to give face to him. How many days had it been since Zhao Qibing came to Songshan? How many days had he created such a strong opponent? Although that person was at the early phase of mystic class, the same strength as Uncle Zhu could feel that Lin Yi's practice was much purer than his. Under the situation where they were at the same level, he wouldn't be able to fight against Lin Yi. If he knew that Lin Yi had just entered the mystic class 2 days ago and hadn't consolidated his strength yet, Uncle Zhu would probably vomit blood again. He had been in the mystic class for almost 10 years, and he had only reached the peak of the early phase of mystic class, and was advancing towards the mid-phase of mystic class. Sihua took the phone. He knew that Uncle Zhu and Master Bing were fine for the time being, so he wasn't that worried anymore. He started from Zhao Qibing's demolition of the slums, how he fell in love with Lin Yi's girlfriend, and how he destroyed Tang Yun's house, injuring Tang Yun and Tang Jucheng. After that, he followed Lin Yi to take revenge. Of course, Sihua hated Lin Yi very much. Back then, the 2 golden class masters by his side died in Lin Yi's hands, so there was no new master in place. This made Sihua lose his confidence even when he went out. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, he wouldn't have ended up like this. Moreover, what annoyed him the most was that if it wasn't for Lin Yi, a part of Pengzhan Industries would have become Master Bing's property. Why would he and Jin Gubang invest to build a new building for Master Bing, the headquarters of Qibing Real Estate? Boss, the 2 golden class masters who were with me were killed by this kid. We can't let him get away with it. Sihua added after he was done narrating the story. Boss, the 2 golden class masters with me were killed by this kid. We can't let him go. If it wasn't for him, we would have gotten the real estate company we gave to Master Bing a long time ago, and maybe Pengzhan Industries would have been ours as well. But this kid stopped us, and now he injured Master Bing and Uncle Zhu. We can't let him go. At first, Sihua thought that Guangyin would be furious, but this time, Guangyin was very calm. His voice was calm as well. This Lin Yi, let's not provoke him for now. Let's wait for Yarawang to go and test him first. Although Guangyin was furious, he wasn't an idiot. If Lin Yi could injure Uncle Zhu, it meant that he had reached mystic class. But what did a 20-year-old mystic class master represent? Chibing didn't believe that Lin Yi was someone who trained himself. Chapter 586. House Zhao's head. So, Lin Yi probably had a huge family backing him, but which hidden house did he come from? In order to deal with Lin Yi, he had to get to the bottom of Lin Yi's background. He couldn't act recklessly. If Lin Yi really was a master nurtured by a hidden house and was killed by him, then that hidden house would go all out against House Zhao. Mystic at 20, his future was limitless. He might even reach the late phase of Earth class or even Sky class. If House Zhao killed him, then Lin Yi's family would go crazy. But they couldn't rule out the possibility that Lin Yi was just lucky, or maybe he ate some miraculous elixir, or maybe he broke through on his own. If that was the case, then they could just kill Lin Yi right away. It was the first time Tsihua heard the head of the house speak in such a tone. He paused for a moment, but still replied, "All right, I understand." The ambulance came, and Tsihua sent Master Bing and Uncle Zhu to the hospital for some simple treatment. Then, he waited for Yarowang to come personally. Guangyin, on the other hand, put down the phone and sighed. He stood up with a serious expression, walked out of the room, and walked towards an independent villa. "Young master, you're here." Guangyin was stopped by an old man the moment he arrived at the door. The old man spoke politely, but he didn't seem to have any intention of letting Guangyin in. "Elder Bai, I'm here to see my father." Guangyin didn't mind at all. Instead, he spoke respectfully to the old man. This was because Elder Bai was one of the few masters left in House Zhao, a guard of House Zhao. He was Guangyin's father's right-hand man. He was single, unmarried, and had no children. He stayed by Guangyin's father's side even when he was old, being a responsible right-hand man. "Please wait a moment, young master. I'll report to the head of the house." Elder Bai nodded and went back into the villa, while Guangyin stood at the door respectfully, not daring to do anything. After a while, Elder Bai came out again and nodded to Guangyin. "Young leader, the leader wants you in." In actuality, Zhao Guangyin was already the head of the Zhao family. Old Zhao had stepped down from the position a few years ago to focus on cultivation. But in Elder Bai's eyes, old Zhao would always be the head of the Zhao family, and Guangyin was just the young head. However, Zhao Guangyin didn't have any other thoughts about this form of address. After all, although he was the head of the family, there were many situations where he had to ask his father for instructions. He could use the mystic class masters in the family, but earth class masters like Elder Bai, he couldn't. Zhao Guangyin respectfully entered the villa and saw that his father was already sitting in the living room, quietly sipping on a cup of tea. Zhao Guangyin hurriedly bowed and said, "Father." "Yes, what do you need me for?" Old Zhao had always been focused on cultivation, looking for the opportunity to break through to earth class. He didn't really care about the family's business anymore, and unless it was something big, Guangyin wouldn't bother him. In actuality, the hidden noble houses didn't care about the common world's business. Although they had some companies and representatives in the common world, they weren't as powerful as the 4 great worlds and the 5 small noble houses. These people were just there to make money for the family, and they didn't need much in terms of material needs. With the wealth they had accumulated over the generations, they didn't even need to run a company outside to survive. Running a company outside meant that they didn't want to run out of money, so they used the profits to keep the family afloat. They didn't want to touch the family business if they could. That was the only way to ensure the family's prosperity. The most important thing was that the hidden noble houses had an agreement with each other to not get involved in the common world's business. Otherwise, the common world would be filled with Wulin masters, and the rules would be messed up. If they all came out, would the noble houses still have a way out? Plus, they pursued the highest level of martial arts, and their desire was to reach the peak and live forever. They had no interest in the outside world. Dad, Lil Bing's legs were crippled, and Mr. Zhu was seriously injured. Zhao Guangyin naturally had to report such a big matter to the old master. "Oh." Old Zhao's eyes flashed. "Lil Zhu is a mystic early phase, right? How did he get injured? Other than the Yu branch, who else in the common world would have a master like that?" Old Zhao's words were like a wake-up call. Guangyin suddenly remembered that his wife's family was House Yu, wasn't it? Could it be that his wife found out that he had a bastard son outside, and sent someone to deal with Zhao Qibing? Qibing's face changed at the thought, and he started to get nervous. Could it be House Yu? Did Yu Xiaojin find out about Lil Bing? Yu Xiaojin was Qibing's wife, a member of House Yu. She was the youngest daughter of House Yu, and old Yu loved her dearly. It was possible that it was Yu Xiaojin who did it. Xiaojin knew about Lil Bing a long time ago. She didn't cause trouble with you because she's a sensible person. If you didn't bring Zhao Qibing back, she'd turn a blind eye to it. As for sending someone to deal with Lil Bing, that's impossible. Old Zhao said, unless Lil Bing threatens her son's position, which is your youngest son. So it's not House Yu? Guang Yin paused, not expecting his wife to know about Zhao Qibing. He thought she didn't know. He couldn't help but smile bitterly at the thought. The women of House Yu were really not simple. It was a marriage of mutual benefit, but she'd been gentle and polite all these years, taking care of his daily life. It was hard to imagine that she used to be the daughter of House Yu. I didn't say that. Old Yu isn't someone who likes to lose out, and he loves Xiaojin the most. It's possible that he'd send someone to deal with Lil Bing for Xiaojin. Old Zhao shook his head. Don't put too much hope on Lil Bing. I don't think he's a spoiled young master. Of course, our Zhao family won't be bullied so easily. I understand this matter. Spread the word and put a bounty on this person's head among all the hidden families. If other families speak up, then consider it. If no one says anything, then that means this person isn't from a hidden family. Chapter 587. The girl from House Yu, of course. If no one cared, then House Zhao would be able to kill Lin Yi without a care in the world. But Guang Yin was more inclined to believe that it was House Yu who did it. How could it be so coincidental? Qibing went to a small slum area in Songshan to demolish a house, and he was able to find a mystic class master. Weren't there too many masters in this world? Guang Yin didn't believe that there wasn't a reason behind this, so he decided to tell Xiaojin about it when he got back. After all, Xiaojin already knew about Qibing's situation, and she was Qibing's aunt. Even if House Yu did it, they'd have to give an explanation. Guang Yin said goodbye to Elder Zhao and returned to his villa. He found his wife, Xiaojin, and told her about Zhao Qibing. Of course, Guang Yin was very sincere in admitting the mistakes he made when he was young and begging for his wife's forgiveness. Xiaojin didn't say anything, only smiling as she listened to her husband. She shook her head. I knew about Qibing a long time ago. I just wanted to see when you would be honest with me. Not only me, but my father knows as well, so I don't think it's us who did it. If we wanted to teach him a lesson, we would have done it long ago. Guang Yin pretended to be surprised and moved to tears. Xiaojin, so you knew about it all along? I really don't know what to say. Our marriage was for the family's benefit, but after all these years, we've developed feelings for each other, and we have a child. I don't want to dwell on the past, but I have one condition, and that is that your child cannot return to House Zhao. Xiaojin made it very clear. He won't, Guang Yin promised. As for whether or not that Lin Yi is from House Yu, I'll ask Big Brother for you. Xiaojin said. Zhao Guang Yin let out a sigh of relief. As long as it wasn't someone from House Yu, everything would be fine. House Yu was one of the strongest hidden houses. Who would have thought that the abandoned bastard of House Yu, one of the 4 great houses of the common world, would actually rebuild House Yu, turning the head of the 4 great houses of the common world, House Yu. It seemed like a joke, but it was the truth. Of course, it was said that this bastard, Yu Xiaojin's father, had a fortuitous encounter that allowed him to break through Earth class and become a Sky class. That was more than 10 years ago. No one knew how strong he was now. As for what was above the heaven rank, only that mysterious man, whose name had once shaken the world, knew. House Yu was the envy of all the houses, but it was also a mountain that couldn't be imitated or surpassed. Who asked them to be so lucky? Lin Yi's arrest warrant was quickly sent out. Of course, it was only limited to the hidden aristocratic families. As for the 4 great aristocratic families and the 5 small aristocratic families, Zhao Guangyin didn't even bother to ask. Those aristocratic families in the common world couldn't possibly have a master like Lin Yi. It was a place with verdant hills and limpid waters, with several European-style ancient castles standing tall. A fairy-like girl sat in front of the window, drawing something on a drawing board. Sometimes she frowned, and sometimes she smiled. Hearing the sound of footsteps coming from the door, the girl quickly closed the drawing board in her hand and combed the hair in front of her forehead, trying to make her expression normal. Just as she turned around, the door of the room was pushed open. The girl's heart tightened, and the corner of her mouth curled up beautifully. 2 dimples appeared on her rosy cheeks. "Brother, why didn't you knock again? Hey, didn't you leave the door unlocked?" A handsome boy casually walked into the room and said with a smile, "Huh? Little sister, why is your face so red? Don't tell me you're fantasizing again." The girl frowned. "Brother, what are you saying? That's so bad. Hey, let me see what you're drawing." The boy jumped in front of the girl in a few steps, trying to snatch the drawing board from the girl's table. The girl was shocked, and she grabbed the drawing board tightly, not letting the boy take it. However, she wasn't as strong as the boy, and she couldn't help but get angry. "Let go." The boy didn't let go, and pulled on the drawing board with all his might. The girl was afraid that he would ruin the work she had been working on for almost a month, and could only let go. However, her beautiful eyes were filled with anger as she glared at the boy. "Ha! You dare say you're not fantasizing? Look, they're holding hands. Ha 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 ha." The boy laughed. "None of your business." The girl grabbed the drawing back from the boy's hand when he wasn't paying attention, and closed the drawing board. It was a very beautiful sketch. On the drawing, a young girl and a man were holding hands as they ran happily on a grassland filled with birds and fragrant flowers. That young girl was herself. "Little sister, Dad received a call just now, and I think he mentioned someone's name." The boy looked at the girl with a smile. The girl's heart tightened, but she said, "Who? What does it have to do with me? If you don't want to know, then forget it. Pretend I never came." With that, the boy turned around and walked out. "Brother, tell me, what did Dad say?" The girl was panicking, and she stared at the boy. "If you don't tell me, I won't talk to you anymore. Dad received a call just now, and it seemed like Auntie asked if there was a person named Linyi in our house. That's all I heard, I don't know anything else." The boy quickly said what he heard. "Auntie. She called Dad." The girl was startled, not understanding why Auntie would suddenly ask about this. "What did Dad say?" "Dad said he doesn't know." The boy shrugged. "Even if he does know, he'll pretend he doesn't know." The girl really wanted to call her auntie right now, but that would make things even more complicated. In the end, she put down the phone and said softly, "Brother, help me." "Of course I'll help," the boy said with a smile. "Linyi is my bro, and I want him to be my brother-in-law too. Don't worry, leave it to me. I'll continue to ask around for you." Fatty Lai anxiously stood guard in front of Linyi's room, not knowing how Linyi was doing. He didn't dare to go in and ask, afraid that he would disturb Linyi's recovery. "Old Lai, who's inside? Why are you so nervous? Why did you bring strangers into our house?" Fatty Lai's wife looked at Fatty Lai and asked curiously. "What do you know? That's my boss. I'm following him now." Fatty Lai glared at his wife. "Shut up and get me something to eat, I'm starving." Chapter 588. Chapter 588. Miss Phonewife Lai was afraid of the responsibility, so she reminded him. However, Fatty Lai was adamant, so she didn't say anything else. In fact, Fatty Lai was a smart man. Wife Lai knew that he wouldn't bring a dying person back for no reason. Fatty Lai paced back and forth in front of Lin Yi's door. Wife Lai quickly brought a bowl of noodles. Fatty Lai took 2 bites and Lin Yi's phone rang. Fatty Lai looked at the caller ID. It was Tang Yun. He quickly picked up the phone. "Hello, sister-in-law." "Fatty Lai? Where's Lin Yi? Why isn't he picking up?" Tang Yun was very worried about Lin Yi's safety. Lin Yi hadn't come back after a few hours. He didn't even call. How could she not be worried? The two of them had just resolved their misunderstanding. They were stuck together like glue. Tang Yun wanted Lin Yi to come back quickly and stay by her side. Fatty Lai hesitated. "Boss is fine. He's a little tired. He wants to sleep for a while." "Sleep for a while?" Tang Yun froze. She felt that something was wrong. "Fatty Lai, Tell me. What's wrong with Lin Yi? Wake him up. Sister-in-law, boss is really tired. He just wants to rest for a while. Fatty Lai didn't want to lie to Tang Yun, but Lin Yi had told him not to tell Tang Yun. Fatty Lai was in a difficult position. He didn't know how to answer Tang Yun. After all, Tang Yun and Lin Yi had a special relationship. A normal reason wouldn't work. Fatty Lai, if you don't tell me the truth, I won't let Lin Yi talk to you anymore. Tang Yun threatened anxiously. Hey! Fatty Lai screamed. He was troubled. Although Lin Yi didn't tell him to tell Tang Yun used Lin Yi to threaten him. Fatty Lai didn't know what to do. He's fine. Don't forget that boss is a miracle doctor. He's healing. Lin Yi's injured. Tang Yin asked, startled. Where are you guys now? He's at my house. Don't worry, sister-in-law. I'll tell Lin Yi to call you back when he wakes up. Fatty Lai explained. No, I'll go over now. Where's your house? Tang Yun panicked. Lin Yi was injured because of her. How could Tang Yun not visit Lin Yi? All right. Fatty Lai couldn't refuse, so he agreed. I'll get my wife to pick you up. It's late, and I'm worried. Then, I'll be troubling you. Tang Yun didn't want to be polite with Fatty Lai anymore. After all, it was related to Lin Yi's safety. Tang Yun didn't want to argue too much. The car number is Song A1234A, a red Porsche. Fatty Lai told Tang Yun his wife's car number. He didn't want Tang Yun to get into the wrong car. After hanging up the phone, Fatty Lai called his wife over and asked her to pick up Tang Yun. Although his wife was confused, she didn't ask much. She went to the garage to get the car and drove to the hospital. From her point of view, someone that Fatty Lai paid so much attention to must be someone important. However, just when Tang Yun hung up, Lin Yi's phone rang again. Fatty Lai picked it up and froze when he saw the caller ID. Because what was written on it was eldest Miss. Who was Miss? Fatty Lai didn't know what was going on. If Lin Yi called her Miss, she must be someone important. Fatty Lai quickly picked up the phone. Lin Yi, where did you go? Why aren't you back yet? My daddy is here. Under normal circumstances, Meng Yaro wouldn't ask about Lin Yi's whereabouts. But today, Lin Yi ran away without telling her. Meng Yaro was unhappy. Besides, her father was here. He wanted to have dinner with Lin Yi. It was a way to thank Lin Yi for saving her. Peng Zhan's company was very busy. He only had time tonight. He asked Forbert to prepare some food from the restaurant and planned to have a drink with Lin Yi. But after waiting for a long time, Lin Yi didn't come back. Meng Yaro asked Meng Yaro to call him. If it was any other time, Meng Yaro would ask Yushu to make the call. But her father was here, so she called him herself. Fatty Lai heard Meng Yao's tone and jumped in fright. Who was this miss? How dare she talk to Lin Yi like this? Moreover, who was her father? Why did she ask Lin Yi to have dinner with her? Could she be Lin Yi's boss? Her tone confused Fatty Lai a little. He didn't know who the miss was. I'm sorry. I'm not Lin Yi. Fatty Lai said carefully. You're not Lin Yi? Where's Lin Yi? Meng Yaro asked curiously. It wasn't Lin Yi. May I know who you are? Fatty Lai wanted to confirm the miss's identity before deciding if he should tell the truth. I'm Lin Yi's. I'm his boss. Meng Yaro thought about it for a long time. She couldn't figure out her relationship with Lin Yi. So, she came up with the term boss. And who are you? Fatty Lai jumped when he heard that it was Lin Yi's boss. Lin Yi's boss. Wasn't that his boss's boss? Fatty Lai quickly said, hello, boss. Boss. What's that? Meng Yaro didn't know what was going on. Lin Yi's my boss, so you're my boss's boss. Naturally, your boss. Fatty Lai explained. Oh, I don't care who you are. I'm looking for Lin Yi. Meng Yaro was confused by Fatty Lai's words. Boss. He's injured. Fatty Lai said. He's healing now. What? Lin Yi's injured. Meng Yaro was shocked. How did Lin Yi get injured? He couldn't help but feel nervous and anxious. What's going on? Is he all right? I don't know. He coughed up blood. He's healing in his room now. I don't dare go in. Fatty Lai replied carefully. Since the person was Lin Yi's boss, he didn't dare lie. Fatty Lai couldn't be blamed for believing Meng Yao's identity. After all, Lin Yi had the name miss on his phone. Coughed up blood. Meng Yao's heart tightened. She had never felt so worried before. She said anxiously, "Where are you?" "I'll be there right away." It's so late. Should I get a car to pick you up?" Fatty Lai didn't dare to delay. After all, he was the boss's boss. "I have a car." Meng Yao interrupted Fatty Lai. "Where is it?" "Hurry up." Chapter 589. The Miss and Tang Yun. Meng Yao didn't say anything and hung up the phone. Meng Yao was panicking. Other than her parents and her best friend, Yu Shu, she'd never been this worried about anyone before. Fatty Lai said that Lin Yi was injured and even vomited blood. Meng Yao's heart was in a mess. Even if she had some complaints about Lin Yi, it all turned into worry at this moment. "Dad, Lin Yi's injured. I have to go check on him," Meng Yao said to Peng Zhan and pulled Yu Shu out. Peng Zhan wanted to go check on Lin Yi when he heard that he was injured, but he hesitated when he saw his daughter's anxious expression. He sat back down and said, "Be careful on the road." Peng Zhan was quite satisfied with his daughter's relationship with Lin Yi. It seemed that his daughter's care for Lin Yi was more than just that of a follower. Yu Shu was eating a sweet potato. It was a hot dish, and it wouldn't taste good if she didn't eat it while it was hot. Although Lin Yi wasn't here yet, that was Yu Shu's personality. No one would say anything if she started eating first. "Oh, Yaro sis, why are you pulling me?" Yu Shu had just stuffed a piece of sweet potato into her mouth when Meng Yao pulled her. She almost choked to death. Her eyes rolled back. She was busy eating in the dining room and didn't hear the conversation between Meng Yao and Peng Zhan in the living room. "Your shield bro's injured. Are you going to check on him?" Meng Yao glared at her. How could she eat so much? Why wasn't she fat? Or did her muscles grow to her breasts? She was quite envious of her physique. I'll go. How did Shield Bro get injured?" Yu Shu was shocked when she heard that. She ran out with Meng Yao. "I don't know." Meng Yao shook her head and went to the garage to get her Audi S5. She drove Yu Shu to Lead Shore. Behind them, Forbert's Bentley also followed. Forbert and Peng Zhan followed behind, worried that something might happen to the two girls in the middle of the night. Still, they wouldn't go see Lin Yi with them. Qianhua Waterfront District wasn't too far from Meng Yao's villa. Although he called later, he reached Fatty Lai's house first. Fatty Lai's wife, on the other hand, had to rush to the First People's Hospital from the Qianhua Shuiyan District to the First People's Hospital. Naturally, she would be slower. "Lai Changyi." Meng Yao recognized Fatty Lai as soon as she entered. Although she didn't know many people, she had attended many famous entrepreneurs' parties with her father. She remembered the names of some of the more powerful bosses in Songshan. Lai Changyi was one of them. Plus, his fat body left a deep impression on Meng Yao. You're big boss. You know me." Fatty Lai was pleasantly surprised. Having a good relationship with Big Boss would benefit him in the future. "My name is Meng Yao." "What Big Boss?" "It sounds terrible." Meng Yao frowned. "Where's Lin Yi?" Fatty Lai pointed at a closed door. "He's inside, but he won't let me in. He asked me to guard the door for him." "What's going on?" Meng Yao was worried about Lin Yi, but since Lin Yi didn't let others in, she couldn't just push the door open. It wouldn't be good if she helped and made things worse. Fatty Lai didn't dare to hide anything. He told her about how Lin Yi helped Tang Yun get revenge. From his point of view, Meng Yao was Lin Yi's boss. She should know about Lin Yi's girlfriend. Tang Yun. Meng Yao heard that Lin Yi was injured because he was avenging Tang Yun, and she felt uncomfortable. "Why? You're my shield, yet you're taking revenge for another girl, and you're even injured. Have you ever asked for my permission? Did I allow you to go?" This Tang Yun was too much. Most importantly, didn't Lin Yi break up with Tang Yun? She turned to Yu Shu. "The spy, Shu 007, didn't you say that Lin Yi broke up with Tang Yun?" Yu Shu heard it from someone else. She was unhappy when she heard that Lin Yi got injured because of Tang Yun. If it was for Yaroyarosis, it would be fine. But for another girl, she pouted. Looking at Yushu's face, Meng Yaro knew that there was something wrong with her source. She glared at her and didn't ask any more. The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. She wanted to see how Lin Yi was, but she couldn't. She could only stand in front of the door. Fatty Lai saw that Meng Yaro didn't say anything. He didn't dare to reply. He stood beside Meng Yaro carefully, waiting for her orders. After a while, the sound of a car came from outside the villa. It was followed by the sound of the door opening. A girl stumbled into the villa. Who else could it be if it wasn't Tang Yun? Tang Yun ran out from the bed directly. She didn't even change out of the hospital gown. Her head was still wrapped in bandages. She followed Fatty Lai's wife. Beside her was Liu Xinwen. Fatty Lai, how's Lin Yi? Where is he? Tang Yun rushed over. Although Meng Yaro and Yushu were there, she ignored them. In her eyes, there was only Lin Yi's safety. It was good enough that she could see Fatty Lai. He won't die. Meng Yaro snorted before Fatty Lai could speak. When she saw Tang Yun, her heart was filled with rage. Lin Yi was injured because of Tang Yun, so she didn't like Tang Yun at all. Seeing Tang Yun stumbling over, she was a little angry. But Meng Yaro forgot that she was the same when she came in. Ah! Tang Yun saw Meng Yaro and Yushu beside Fatty Lai. As one of the 3 campus beauties, Tang Yun naturally knew the other 2. She even talked to Yushu before. How could she not know them? Fatty Lai, how's Lin Yi? Where is he? Tang Yun ran over hurriedly. Although Meng Yaro and Yushu were there, she ignored them. In her eyes, there was only Lin Yi's safety. It was good enough that she could see Fatty Lai. He won't die. Meng Yaro snorted before Fatty Lai could speak. When she saw Tang Yun, her heart was filled with rage. Lin Yi was injured because of Tang Yun, so she didn't like Tang Yun at all. Seeing Tang Yun stumbling over, she was a little angry. But Meng Yaro forgot that she was the same when she came in. Chapter 590. The defense of love. From the looks of it, they were here for Lin Yi as well. She asked hesitantly, you guys. Meng Yaro was about to say something when Yushu blinked her eyes and stepped in front of Meng Yaro. Let me introduce you, Yaro sis. She's Shield Bro's girlfriend. Shield Bro? Who? Tang Yun didn't quite understand what Yushu meant. Shield Bro, naturally, it's Lin Yi, haha. Yushu smiled slyly. Lin Yi? Girlfriend? Tang Yun's eyes widened. She was Lin Yi's girlfriend, okay? How did Meng Yaro become Lin Yi's girlfriend? What was going on? If Xiao Xiao was here, Tang Yun could understand, but Meng Yaro and Yushu were the 2 of them. She couldn't believe it. How did Lin Yi get involved with them? Meng Yaro glared at Yushu, but the word girlfriend didn't resent her at all. Quite the contrary, it gave her a strange feeling. She didn't want to reject it. Hello, I'm Meng Yaro, Lin Yi's fiancé. Meng Yaro elegantly extended her hand towards Tang Yun, raising her arrogant head and looking down at Tang Yun. At this moment, the eldest Miss Innate Nobility was displayed to the fullest. Tang Yun looked at Meng Yaro, surprised. Lin Yi's fiancé? Tang Yun wasn't used to this. This was too sudden. She was Lin Yi's fiancé. Meng Yaro was the famous miss of the school, the daughter of the chairman. She had a relationship with Lin Yi. Although surprised, Tang Yun still held Meng Yao's hand stubbornly. I'm Tang Yun, Lin Yi's girlfriend. Why didn't I hear Lin Yi mention that he has a fiancé? Seeing Meng Yao's attitude, Tang Yun was convinced. If the woman in front of her had nothing to do with Lin Yi, she wouldn't be here right now. However, she didn't believe that she was Lin Yi's fiancé. She'd just been tricked by Xiao Xiao, and her vigilance was high. How could she be tricked so easily? Even if the opponent was an arrogant miss, Tang Yun started to fight back. This was the first time she fought to defend her love. She didn't want to misunderstand Lin Yi again because of some groundless things. I've heard of you. Meng Yaro said faintly. It had to be said that Meng Yao's words had taken the upper hand. She showed that her relationship with Lin Yi was closer than Tang Yun's relationship with Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't hide anything from her, But Lin Yi hid something from Tang Yun. Is that so? Since you've heard of me, then you should know that my relationship with Lin Yi is recognized by the school. Since when did you become Lin Yi's fiancé? Tang Yun's words were sharp. She didn't fight before because she didn't want to, and she didn't need to fight for anything. But the feeling of losing Lin Yi these past few days wasn't a good one, torturing Tang Yun. Plus, with Meng Yao's words, Tang Yun straightened her back. She was Lin Yi's girlfriend. This was recognized. Tang Yun's words made it hard for Meng Yao to reply. She argued with Tang Yun because she wanted to win, but she had never been in a relationship with Lin Yi. She felt guilty instinctively. Seeing Tang Yun being so aggressive, she didn't know how to deal with it. However, she didn't want to admit defeat. She'd said it before, so how could she back down? What's wrong with that? Yaro sis and Shield Bro's relationship was arranged by the family. There's no need to tell others. Isn't that right, Yaro sis? Although Yushu would usually quarrel with Meng Yao, the two of them were on the same side right now. When there was an enemy, they would stand together to fight together. She put her hands on her waist and stood in front of Meng Yao. Arranged by the family? Tang Yun froze. Indeed, marriage between rich families wasn't a rare thing. If Yushu said it, it was possible. After all, Meng Yao's identity was there. If she didn't have a relationship with Lin Yi, why would she argue with her? Yeah, you don't know, right? Shield Bro and Yaro sis are developing fast. They've even kissed. Yushu looked at Tang Yun and said proudly, how about it? You guys haven't kissed yet, right? Yushu's words shocked both Meng Yao and Tang Yun. Although Meng Yao was surprised, she didn't show it. She looked at Tang Yun proudly as if she agreed with Yushu's words. Why? Why not? We've kissed before. Tang Yun looked at Yushu and said word by word, we often kiss. Tang Yun was talking about the promise they made when they rescued the hostage in the hospital. Although they haven't carried it out yet, Tang Yun thought that it should be about the same. So she didn't want to be outdone. Liu Xinwen followed Tang Yun here, but she didn't know what was going on. She knew Meng Yao and Yushu. She knew that these two were the prettiest girls in the school. But their words shocked Liu Xinwen. Of course, what shocked her even more was Tang Yun's words. Tang Yun and Lin Yi kissed. Liu Xinwen had been trying to find out how far Tang Yun and Lin Yi had progressed, but there was no progress. Today, Tang Yun's self-exposure made Liu Xinwen sigh. So these two had reached this stage without saying a word. Oh, kissing isn't that big of a deal. Shield Bro often hugs Yaro sis and touches her chest. Yushu released even more explosive news when she heard that Tang Yun had kissed Lin Yi. Meng Yao wanted to say that Lin Yi had never touched her chest before. But she knew that Yushu was fighting for her face, so Meng Yao silently agreed to Yushu's words. Lin Yi touched my chest too. Tang Yun panicked. She subconsciously puffed out her chest. His chest isn't as big as mine. It's not easy to touch. Tang Yun would never say something like this under normal circumstances. But even a rabbit will bite when it's cornered. Tang Yun was forced into a corner by Meng Yao and Yushu, so she didn't care about what she said. The words almost came out of her mouth. After saying it, even Tang Yun was shocked. Was this something she said? How could she be so shameless? How could she compare whose chest was easier to touch with other girls? How shameless was that? Liu Xinwen's eyes widened. Was this the good girl she knew? How could this be? This was crazy. Both of them started to touch breasts. Chapter 591. Chapter 591. Super Yushu. Tang Yun pointed out her weakness, which made Meng Yao furious. She glared at Tang Yun as if she wanted to eat her up. What's wrong with my little one? I have a big one at home. Look, isn't she big? She's a lot bigger than you, right? Meng Yao pushed Yushu out as she spoke, and as Meng Yao's best friend, Yushu puffed her chest out proudly. See? You can't compete with her, right? It's none of your business. It's not like Lin Yi can touch you. Tang Yun found it funny. Meng Yao couldn't compete with her, but she couldn't use someone else to replace her, right? Why not? Shield Bro always touches me. You even kissed me. Yushu looked at Tang Yun as if she was looking at an ignorant girl with disdain. Touch you? Kiss you. Tang Yun didn't believe it. It was ridiculous. She could accept that Lin Yi was Meng Yao's fiancé, but to say that Lin Yi not only had a relationship with Meng Yao, but also with Yushu, it was ridiculous. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Yaro sis is Shield Bro's main wife, and I'm his second wife. Buy one get one free, it's a good deal. Yushu blinked at Meng Yao. Isn't that right, Yaro sis? That's right. Meng Yao nodded with a serious face. Yeah, that's what we agreed on. Meng Yao nodded with a serious face. Ah! Tang Yun was completely dumbfounded. What kind of logic was this? One was the main wife, and one was the second wife. Most importantly, Meng Yao had silently agreed to it. Tang Yun felt that this was either a farce, or there was something wrong with their brains. Tang Yun felt that it was possible for her to be Lin Yi's second wife. After all, her family was there, and she liked Lin Yi a lot. Lin Yi was injured because of her. He was willing to sacrifice so much for her. Even if she was his second wife, Tang Yun would accept it. At the very least, Lin Yi truly liked her. As long as he treated her well, she could barely accept it. But to say that Yushu was Lin Yi's mistress, Tang Yun didn't think it was realistic. What was Yushu's family background? She was a miss, and her brother was a major. Her family background was even more mysterious. Both she and Meng Yao were the pride of the school, so how could they share a husband? So Tang Yun's first thought was that these two were working together to trick her. After the initial shock, she didn't really believe it. She said sarcastically, "First wife, second wife? You guys are really creative. Yeah, how about it? Are you envious?" Yushu continued as if she didn't hear the sarcasm in Tang Yun's words. Yaro and I are generous people. Even if you're Lin Yi's girlfriend, you can only be a small wife. No, you're the second small wife, I'm the first. Yushu's words made Meng Yao blush. Don't you know how to be embarrassed? But it was all thanks to Yushu, the clown. Without her, Meng Yao might have really lost the battle. Tang Yun was speechless. How could there be such a shameless person? What first wife and second wife? Was it that honorable? This Yushu didn't seem to know what shame was. Tang Yun couldn't argue with her, but how could Tang Yun accept being defeated just like that? She glared at Yushu. What first wife and second wife? First come, first served, right? I'm already having sex with Lin Yi. What are you guys? You're just a figurehead. What? Xin Wen was scared to death. Tang Yun and Lin Yi had already developed to this stage? Already had sex? Heavens, this is too fast. Tang Yun was also shocked by her own words. But since she said it, she couldn't back down. If she showed her fear, all her previous efforts would be wasted. So this time, Tang Yun took the initiative. She couldn't let Yushu lead her by the nose all the time, could she? Sex is nothing. We've been living together for a long time. Right, Yaro sis? Yushu looked at Meng Yao and asked. Yes, we're living together. Meng Yao said this with confidence. She was telling the truth. She wasn't lying. They were living together with Lin Yi. We're always together. We're always threesome. Do you know what threesome is? Men love it the most. You're alone. How can it be as good as me and Yaro sis? Yushu didn't think before she spoke. She dared to say anything. This made Meng Yao speechless. But even so, she couldn't correct her. Meng Yao could only accept it. Tang Yun's face turned red. She didn't expect Yushu to say something so bold. She didn't want to believe Meng Yao and Yushu's words. But she was a little suspicious. After all, a girl's reputation was very important. She was already Lin Yi's girlfriend. Even if it was spread out, it wouldn't cause any trouble. But Meng Yao and Yushu, these two rich girls, didn't they care about their reputation? If there really wasn't anything between them and Lin Yi, would they dare to say this? Although Tang Yun didn't think that threesome was real, their relationship with Lin Yi was definitely not nothing. Although Tang Yun was stubborn and felt that she was Lin Yi's girlfriend, she was still no match for Yushu. At this time, she was obviously a little weak. After all, she didn't know what else to say to be more powerful than Yushu's threesome. What's so good about threesome? It's disgusting. Tang Yun felt wronged. Her eyes stared at Yushu, unwilling to show weakness. You haven't tried it before. Of course you don't know, Yushu said confidently. We basically have threesome every day. Bullshit. Tang Yun, of course, didn't believe it. She felt that what Yushu said was too far from reality. Lin Yi won't live with you guys. You don't believe me? Then I'll show you the evidence. Yushu took out her phone and opened the photo album. Then, she held it up and showed it to Tang Yun. Look, this is our kitchen. Shield Bro makes breakfast for us every day. This is our living room. We watch TV together. Oh right, on this sofa, we threesome together. Look here, it's my asterisk. If you don't believe me, you can look at what I'm wearing. It's with this pattern. Oh, Yaro sis is in this photo. Look, the reflection in the mirror is here. Yushu finally found a photo with Meng Yaro on it. She pointed it out to Tang Yun excitedly. Chapter 592. Who's bolder? How is it? Do you believe me now? There's also this one, it's our villa's yard. Look, this is Shield Bro's car, and this is his car. You've seen it before, right? This Beetle is mine, and that Audi S5 is Yaro sis's. Yushu continued flipping through the photos in her phone and explained to Tang Yun, actually, there's still the selfie we took when we were together, but we didn't put it in our phone. It's in our computer, do you want to see it? Tang Yun snorted and glared at Yushu fiercely. Actually, Tang Yun's heart was in a mess. She didn't know if she should believe Yushu's words, but her instincts told her that she didn't believe Yushu's words. If Lin Yi really had something with them, Tang Yun didn't believe that Lin Yi wouldn't tell her about it. Why would Lin Yi hide it from her? If he had a fiancé, then so be it. As long as he told her, she would leave quietly. There was no need to tell her through someone else's mouth. However, in the photo in Yushu's phone, it was indeed Lin Yi's car. Tang Yun also saw Lin Yi driving the yellow Beetle. When Lin Yi came to her house for the first time, he drove this Beetle. How could Lin Yi not know about it? And that Audi S5, Tang Yun also saw it. It was at the night market. Lin Yi stood beside the car. In fact, Yushu didn't know what lovers would do after they slept together. They couldn't say that they had a child, right? That would be ridiculous. If Tang Yun asked where the child was, what would she say? So, Tang Yun didn't say anything and just stared at them. Yushu didn't say anything either and just stared at them. They glared at each other fiercely, but no one said anything. At that moment, it was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Although it seemed like Yushu and Meng Yaro had the upper hand, in fact, they were feeling guilty. After all, what Yushu said just now was just bullsh*ting. Fatty Lai had already hidden far away when the three girls started fighting. He didn't want to be caught as a strong man because he couldn't afford to offend either of the two groups. Fatty Lai knew that Tang Yun was his sister-in-law. Meng Yaro and Yushu, on the other hand, were speaking so confidently, and Yushu had so much evidence. Fatty Lai knew that Lin Yi must be related to them. Therefore, the best thing to do at this time was to hide and not help either side. This was the wisest choice. Fatty Lai walked over after they stopped arguing. All right, it doesn't matter which one of you is Lin Yi's wife. You're still his woman, so you're all sisters-in-law. Meng Yaro was about to say, who's sis-in-law? But then he remembered that he was still fighting with Tang Yun, so he accepted the title of sister-in-law without batting an eyelid. Tang Yun saw that Meng Yaro and Yushu didn't say anything, so she raised her head and didn't say anything. Sisters-in-law, can you guys calm down first? Boss is healing now, and he needs silence. What if he goes mad with you guys arguing like this? Fatty Lai said carefully. Tang Yun was shocked. Meng Yaro and Yushu were also shocked. They didn't think that much before, but after Fatty Lai's reminder, they realized that Lin Yi was still lying inside. What's the point of arguing about these meaningless things? Maybe it was because of Fatty Lai's words, or maybe they didn't know what to say anymore, but the living room temporarily quieted down. There were two groups of people in the living room. One group was Meng Yaro and Yushu. Both of them had moved to the side and were whispering to each other. Shu, how could you say such dirty things just now? 3 batches. Did you read too many bad books? Meng Yarrow scolded softly. Oh, Yarrow sis, you know what 3 batches means? Then you read bad books too. Yushu said carelessly. Don't change the topic. Meng Yarrow glared at Yushu. What we did just now, wasn't it bad? What's bad about it? Shield Bro belongs to Yarrow sis, who asked him to fool around outside. Yushu didn't think that what she did was wrong at all. Sigh. Meng Yarrow sighed softly. In fact, she didn't know whether what she did was right or wrong. It seemed like it was an instinct, but it also seemed like she was being pushed. On the other side, Tang Yun was pulled to the side by Liu Xinwen. Liu Xinwen wanted to speak a few times, but she didn't. After all, she didn't know how Tang Yun and Lin Yi's relationship was not good. Tang Yun was worried about Lin Yi, so she didn't have the mood to talk about this. The battle with Yushu just now was to protect her dignity, and at this moment, Tang Yun obviously didn't have the mood to care about other things. Fatty Lai saw that everyone was standing in front of Lin Yi's room, so he and his wife moved 4 sofas and let them sit first. Time passed by, and there was no movement from Lin Yi's room. Tang Yun wanted to go and see, but she was afraid of disturbing Lin Yi, and Meng Yarrow had the same thought. Yarrow sis, I'm hungry. Yushu heard her stomach growling. She wanted to eat. Bear with it, when Lin Yi wakes up, the 3 of us will go home and eat together. When she said this, Meng Yarrow didn't know what she was thinking, but she purposely raised her voice so that Tang Yun could hear her. Okay, but I want to eat Shield Bro's cooking, his cooking is delicious. Yushu cooperated with Meng Yarrow. Doesn't he cook for us every day? He's injured today, so he doesn't need to cook anymore. Meng Yarrow also showed off. Meng Yarrow realized that when did she become so vain? She didn't like to show off before, did she? Tang Yun listened to the 2 girls, and her heart was filled with dissatisfaction. Why should she cook for them? She couldn't help but say, Liu Xinwen, you haven't eaten Lin Yi's chicken wings before, right? It's delicious, and he even gave me the recipe. The barbecue at my house now is the recipe Lin Yi gave me, right? He even made me shark meat before, you have eaten it too, right? Liu Xinwen sighed. Yin Yun, why are you starting to get jealous too? You are the pride of the heavens, the prettiest among the 3 of us. But Meng Yarrow and Yushu, which one of them isn't beautiful? Shark meat, we have eaten it too, and that shark was caught by Shield Bro and me, Yushu continued. Me. Tang Yun didn't believe it and humphed. Chapter 593. The war begins again. I want to eat roasted chicken wings. Yushu heard Tang Yun talking about roasted chicken wings, so she wanted to eat roasted chicken wings as well. Shoo. We don't have roasted chicken wings here. Meng Yarrow glared at her and turned to Fatty Lai. Sorry for troubling you. Meng Yarrow acted like a lady from a wealthy family. Us too, we'll just eat whatever we want, Tang Yun said politely to Fatty Lai. Okay, I'll ask my wife to cook the noodles. Fatty Lai let out a sigh of relief. He was afraid that these girls would be picky. Soon, Fatty Lai's wife finished cooking the noodles, and Fatty Lai was responsible for serving them. Each of them had a bowl, and the piping hot noodles were placed in front of the girls. Meng Yarrow, Yushu, Tang Yun, and Liu Xinwen were all hungry. They stopped fighting and lowered their heads to eat the noodles. Meng Yarrow and Tang Yun ate more elegantly, while Yushu and Liu Xinwen didn't care that much. They ate the noodles with gusto. Fatty Lai often went to social events, and it was hard for him to eat his fill at the banquets. So he would always eat something before going to bed, and noodles were extremely convenient. So Fatty Lai's wife learned how to cook noodles, and the noodles she made were better than the ones outside. After finishing the noodles, Fatty Lai picked up the bowl, and the girls continued to stare at each other. The smell of gunpowder was very strong. After eating and drinking, the war began. Meng Yarrow thought about how there was no news from Lin Yi for so long, and she was even more worried. She couldn't help but complain. Why didn't you stop Lin Yi from taking revenge? If you had stopped him, he wouldn't have gotten hurt, right? How could I have stopped him? He went to take revenge for me, and that proves that he loves me. I should be happy, Tang Yun said. Otherwise, why didn't he get hurt because of you? Who said he didn't get hurt because of me? He even took a bullet for me, right Shu? Meng Yarrow was talking about the bank robbery, But the bullet wasn't for Meng Yaro, but for Guan Xin. Oh, Shield Bro jumped into the sea with me to save me, and we even fought sharks. Yu Shu added. Fatty Lai sighed and pulled his wife to a faraway place. He didn't dare go to sleep. It was fine if they argued, but he was afraid that they'd start fighting. Old Lai, who are these people? Lai's wife still didn't understand the relationship between these people. She only knew that the injured person was Lin Yi, her husband's boss, was a miracle doctor who cured her father-in-law. The current miracle doctor Guan's medical company was also founded by him, so Lai's wife knew that he was a powerful figure and respected him like Fatty Lai. But, of the 4 girls in the room, 3 of them were ridiculously pretty, and all of them claimed to be in a relationship with Lin Yi. This gave the wife quite a headache. Lin Yi passed the phone to Fatty Lai and told him to explain if Tang Yun called. Then, he locked himself in the room, fell onto the bed, and fainted. In the next moment, Lin Yi entered the space of the jade pendant. This was the first time that Lin Yi had a head-on collision with an expert of similar strength to him. This collision was extremely uncomfortable. Fortunately, he had the space of the jade pendant. Otherwise, he might have really died this time. Lin Yi could feel the elemental energy around him repairing his internal organs at an incredible speed. He couldn't help but let out a long sigh. It was a very comfortable feeling, just like the feeling he got when he leveled up and broke through. He couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. This was the second time Lin Yi entered deep sleep after Xiao Xiao sucked all his energy dry. He couldn't sense anything from the outside world at all. Time passed, and Lin Yi's injured body was quickly recovering under the pure energy of the space. After who knew how long, Lin Yi let out a long roar and stood up. Lin Yi moved his body left and right, in disbelief. He was healed, completely healed. Lin Yi, naturally, knew how serious his injuries were. Even with the support of his old man's elixirs, he wouldn't be able to get out of bed for at least 2 to 3 months. But in this space of the jade pendant, he recovered so quickly. It could be said to be a miracle. Jiao Lao, I'm healed? Lin Yi asked in disbelief. Yes. Jiao Yazi nodded. The space of the jade pendant has healing effects. Lin Yi asked curiously. When he fell on the bed, entering the space of the jade pendant was an instinct. In fact, Lin Yi didn't know that entering the space of the jade pendant after he fainted could help him heal. Of course, your energy can help others heal, of course you can heal yourself. Jiao Lao rolled his eyes. Can't you ask some questions that are beyond kindergarten level? Okay, so that means if I slowly absorb energy from the outside, the pure qi in the natural world, I can slowly recover? Lin Yi asked. In theory, yes. Jiao Yazi said, but this is another kindergarten level question. The pure qi in the outside world is thin, and the amount you absorb can't keep up with the speed your body uses it. You won't be able to absorb that much energy, and you'll die. I see. Lin Yi nodded. If that Uncle Zhu didn't have elixirs, he'd probably die. One more question, why do I feel like I'm stronger than before? Although my level hasn't changed, I feel stronger. Very good, there's progress. This is a primary school level question. Jiao Yazi's words made Lin Yi a little embarrassed. However, Jiao Yazi didn't wait for Lin Yi to speak and continued, there's no construction without destruction. Your bones and internal organs have all been damaged, so they will be repaired by the pure energy in the space. Naturally, they will be much stronger than if they were forged by the thin true qi in the natural world. Lin Yi suddenly realized that it was related to the purity of the energy. It seemed that the space of the jade pendant was really a good thing. Such a serious injury, but I recovered in such a short time. It's unbelievable. Lin Yi sighed. Short. It's almost 10 hours. Jiao Yazi said lightly. What? 10 hours? Lin Yi was shocked. In his mind, it was only 1 or 2 hours. He didn't expect it to be this long. Chapter 594. Lin Yi's headache. Moreover, after he ran out tonight, he did not inform eldest miss. Would eldest miss look for him? Thinking of this, Lin Yi quickly returned to reality from the jade space. Lin Yi stretched his body and checked his body. He was on the verge of dying, but now he had recovered to his peak condition. He was full of energy and there was nothing wrong with his body. Only the blood stain on his clothes was a little scary. Lin Yi quickly got up from the bed and opened the door, only to be stunned by what he saw. Miss and Tang Yun were all sitting in the living room. Why were they all here? Lin Yi, are you all right? Why is it so serious? Meng Yarrow stood up first and walked to Lin Yi's side. She looked at Lin Yi tenderly, her beautiful eyes were full of tenderness. Lin Yi couldn't help but shiver at Meng Yao's tone. Was this Miss? Why was she speaking like this? Was he not awake yet? Was he still dreaming? Meng Yarrow didn't know why, but in front of Tang Yun, she subconsciously entered her mode. She was like a gentle wife, worried about Lin Yi. Especially when she saw the blood stain on Lin Yi's clothes, Meng Yarrow was even more furious at Tang Yun. Lin Yi was injured because he wanted to avenge her. Lin Yi, I'm sorry. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been injured. Tang Yun naturally didn't want to be outdone. She ran over and grabbed Lin Yi's arm. How could Meng Yarrow let herself get close to Lin Yi? At this time, she also grabbed Lin Yi's other arm. Yu Shu, on the other hand, jumped into Lin Yi's arms. Shield bro, we were so worried about you. Are you alright? If not, let's go home and do 3P. What? Lin Yi jumped in fright from Yu Shu. What? Go home and do 3P? Did Shu have a fever or was she having a stroke? Lin Yi, she said she's your fiancé. Meng Yarrow is the main wife, and Yu Shu is the second wife. Tang Yun was conflicted. Although she was worried about Lin Yi's injury, she still had to ask the question in her heart. Ah! First wife, second wife. Lin Yi's eyes widened. What was going on? That's right, Lin Yi. Tell me, are you my personal expert? Are you here to help me deal with those pestering flies? Meng Yarrow felt a little guilty. Lin Yi had woken up, and her lie was about to be exposed. However, she didn't want to admit defeat in front of Tang Yun. Lin Yi looked at Meng Yarrow. He didn't know what was wrong with her today. Why was she so aggressive today? They said that the two of you often kiss together, and 3P? Tang Yun didn't think that the term 3 batches was very elegant, but she couldn't care less. She wanted to know the truth. When did you kiss? 3P. I don't even know where to start. Lin Yi sweated. He wanted to have 3P, but who was going to do it with him? Shield bro, you dare to say that you didn't kiss me and Yaro Yaro sis? You even made Yaro Yaro sis pregnant, and she vomited. Yu Shu said, also, didn't you kiss me on the beach? Really? Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi with a wronged expression. Lin Yi suddenly had a headache. He didn't know how Meng Yarrow and Yu Shu got into a fight with Tang Yun, but it was obvious that the two of them lied to Tang Yun. Sweat. That's an indirect kiss, okay? You drank my drink, and that counts as a kiss. Lin Yi was speechless. If you can get pregnant like that, then the streets would be full of pregnant women. Also, Shu, I gave you CPR, how is that a kiss? Tang Yun listened to Lin Yi's explanation, and her heart was filled with joy. Although this explanation proved that Lin Yi really had some relationship with Meng Yarrow and Yu Shu, at least Lin Yi cared about her, that's why he explained it to her. Whether it was true or not, Tang Yun was very happy. Meng Yarrow blushed when Lin Yi said the truth, but Yu Shu didn't care. Shield bro, why didn't you cooperate with us? Cooperate with what? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Why are you and Yaro Yaro here? Yaro Yaro sis heard that you were injured, so she brought me here to see you. Yaro Yaro sis is very concerned about you. When are we going home to play 3P? Yu Shu said without blushing. What 3P? How can you be so shameless? Lin Yi already said that it has nothing to do with you. Can you not pester him like this? Tang Yun panicked. Why was Yu Shu like this? Isn't this seduction? Even if Lin Yi didn't like them, wouldn't he make a mistake if he continued to seduce them? Tang Yun knew how pretty Meng Yarrow and Yu Shu were. Oh, are you jealous? You can't do 3P, but you don't want us to? Yu Shu grinned at Tang Yun. Why can't I play? I'll take care of two of you. Tang Yun was panicking and didn't know what to say. Lin Yi's head was about to explode. What day was it? What was going on? How did Tang Yun, who used to be so obedient, suddenly become so violent? And the first miss, who had always been aloof and virtuous, also joined in. As for Yushu, Lin Yi didn't think much of it. She was like this all the time, after all. Ah! My head hurts. Lin Yi slapped his forehead as he fell to the ground. The headache was real, but it wasn't that serious. Fainting was just an act. However, Lin Yi's fall shocked Tang Yun, Meng Yaro, and Yushu. They just remembered that Lin Yi had just woken up from his injury. They didn't know if he had recovered or not, but they were still arguing here. Weren't they trying to piss Lin Yi off? Tang Yun and Meng Yaro wanted to go check on Lin Yi, but Yushu said, "Oh, shield bro, why are your eyes moving? Are you pretending to faint?" Lin Yi was just playing around with them, and he pretended to be anxious. Naturally, he didn't look like he fainted. Yushu found the floor, so he stopped pretending. "Yaro Yaro, Shu, don't cause trouble." "What? Do you think I'm annoying?" Meng Yao's face turned cold. She was obviously unhappy. "Lin Yi, come home with us right now." Meng Yao really lost her face. Lin Yi told them not to cause trouble. Didn't he mean that they shouldn't cause trouble between him and Tang Yun? With the Mrs. Arrogant personality, how could she tolerate it? Oh, let's go home and play 3P. Yushu clapped happily. "Yao Yao, you guys go back first. I want to talk to Tang Yun." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Chapter 595. The Misdeclaration of War. This. Lin Yi looked at Tang Yin, who was gritting her teeth. He knew that he had pushed her to the edge today, or else she wouldn't be like this. Of course, Lin Yi has to listen to me. Meng Yaro finally gained the upper hand. "Lin Yi, my dad is waiting for you at home. Come home with us now." Lin Yi was in a difficult position. Peng Zhan was here? Logically speaking, Peng Zhan was his employer. If he wanted him to go back, he had to go back. But he had to explain to Tang Yin, right? "I can go back, I'll explain to Tang Yin." Lin Yi's words were very forceful, and Meng Yaro wanted to retort, but she couldn't. She couldn't help but pout, glaring at Lin Yi hatefully. "Damned Lin Yi, what the hell were you talking to me about? I'll deduct your salary." Tang Yin smiled. It didn't matter what relationship Lin Yi had with them. Lin Yi cared about her the most. So, she won this round. Lin Yi walked to Tong Yin's side and whispered, "I'm fine, I want to go back with them. Yaro's father and my family's old man have some relationship. I came to Songshan to study, it's also because of my elder's order to secretly take care of Yaro. She is now my employer, so I have to listen to her." Oh. Tang Yin felt wronged. "Why didn't you tell me before?" Besides, Lin Yi was living with them now. Facing these two beauties every day, even if Lin Yi didn't like them, he would still fall in love with them, right? An unprecedented sense of danger made Tang Yun's heart flutter. "Let Fatty Lai send you back. I'll go find you tomorrow." Lin Yi pulled Tong Yin's hand. "Okay." Tang Yin nodded sweetly. She looked at Meng Yaro cautiously. "Lin Yi, we should go." Meng Yaro knew that Lin Yi must have told Tang Yun about her identity. This made her a little embarrassed. She had just shamelessly said that she was Lin Yi's fiancé, but now it had become a joke. "Then leave, don't keep your employer waiting." Tang Yun smiled at Lin Yi generously. She knew that a girl shouldn't be too petty, especially in front of a strong opponent like Meng Yaro. Although Lin Yi explained his relationship with Meng Yaro, Tang Yun's sixth sense told her that Meng Yaro liked Lin Yi, and so did Yushu. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone against him like this, and they wouldn't have said those words that tarnished their reputations. However, Tang Yin was a smart girl. She still pointed out Meng Yao's identity. In fact, she was telling Meng Yaro that she knew her identity, and there was no need for her to fight with her. Meng Yaro pursed her lips and pulled Yushu out of the living room. But when she passed by Tang Yin, she stopped and whispered in her ear, "I've decided. From today onwards, I'll officially pursue Lin Yi. I'll get the benefits first. Don't cry when I get dumped." "Oh, if you want to cry, I can reluctantly let you be the second wife." Yushu giggled. Tang Yin didn't say anything. She stood there, full of confidence. She didn't believe that Lin Yi would dump her. She smiled faintly and said half-jokingly, "Since you're so willing to be the second wife, as long as Lin Yi is willing, I don't mind." Lin Yi's hearing was shockingly strong. Naturally, he heard everything the three of them said. Lin Yi only had one thought in his mind. Miss had gone crazy. Tang Yin had gone crazy too. However, Lin Yi didn't say anything. He followed Meng Yarrow and Yushu out of Fatty Lai's villa. Meng Yarrow and Yushu sat in their Audi S5, but they sat in the back. Lin Yi looked at his car. He could only come back tomorrow to get it. Miss obviously wanted him to drive, so Lin Yi had no choice but to sit in the driver's seat. Tang Yin let out a sigh of relief when she saw Lin Yi leave. She collapsed into Xinwen's arms as if she'd collapsed from exhaustion. Tang Yin gritted her teeth. There was only one thought in her mind. She couldn't show weakness in front of Meng Yarrow and Yushu. Although he didn't know their background, Lin Yi liked her. This was the reason why Tang Yin gritted her teeth and fought until the end. However, Tang Yin was a girl who hadn't experienced these things. Fortunately, Meng Yarrow didn't have any experience, and with the addition of Yushu, it was hard to tell who would win. However, after Meng Yarrow and Yushu left, Tang Yin couldn't hold on anymore. She wasn't the kind of person who liked to fight. She used all her strength just now. Yunyun, what's wrong? Xinwen was shocked and asked anxiously. It's nothing. Tang Yin smiled bitterly. I'm just a little tired. Xinwen, do you think what I did just now wasn't good? Does Lin Yi think that I'm a petty woman who likes to fight for a man's favor? No. Yunyun, your performance just now was beyond my expectations. You were so fierce, I almost couldn't recognize you. Xinwen said with admiration. You're being sarcastic. Tang Yin let out a breath of relief after hearing Xinwen's words. She didn't expect herself to be so daring and argue with Meng Yarrow and Yushu. Thinking about it now, Tang Yin couldn't believe that it was her. Haha, by the way, Yunyun, how far are you and Lin Yi now? Are you really fucking? Xinwen had wanted to ask this question for a long time. Of course not. I was lying to them. Who told them to lie to me? Tang Yin's face blushed as she said embarrassedly. You scared me. You stupid Yunyun, I thought you were fucking that fast. That's a little too fast. Xinwen also let out a breath of relief. By the way, how far are you guys now? Not that far, just holding hands. Tang Yin returned to her usual self. If she had to stand up and say something like before, she wouldn't dare to do it. It's just holding hands. Xinwen, on the other hand, was a little disappointed. She didn't expect the two to progress so slowly. Right, Yunyun, you need to be careful of Meng Yarrow and Yushu, they're obviously in cahoots with each other. They have an advantage over you. You and Lin Yi may be in a relationship now, but it's buy one get one free. You get 3 batches. Tang Yin couldn't help but roll her eyes at Xinwen. Hey, Xinwen, what are you talking about? Lin Yi doesn't like to do those disgusting things. Chapter 596. After getting injured, no. I won't. Although Tang Yun said that, she started to worry. Xinwen's words made her feel embarrassed, but it wasn't without reason. She had to find a chance to ask Lin Yi about it. Speaking of tigress, who's more tigress than you? My tigress is different from hers. How should I put it? Although Liu Xinwen's character was very boorish, she was also meticulous. She had a good eye for people. Her tiger is the kind of naive and cute tiger, but I think it's most likely an act. Either she's really like this, very silly, very naive, very pure and ambiguous, or she's very perverted and smart. What nonsense. Tang Yun blushed. Why do I care so much about her? Haven't you heard of this saying? There's no such thing as an unbreakable couple, only a lazy mistress. Xinwen was disappointed. Yunyun, you have to be careful. All right, I got it. Xinwen's words were clear in Tang Yin's heart, but what could she do? It all depended on Lin Yi's attitude. Tang Yun and Xinwen were sent back to the hospital by Fatty Lai's wife. Tang Yun's head didn't hurt at all, just like what Lin Yi said, she could remove the bandages in one night. Before they left, Fatty Lai gave Tang Yun a bottle of painkiller. Since Tang Juqing was injured, he used up a lot of painkiller. At the same time, in the private room behind the floating cloud bar, Zhao Qibing and Uncle Zhu were both lying on the bed. Zhao Qibing had woken up and was crying in pain. Uncle Zhu, on the other hand, closed his eyes to heal himself. Master Bing, bear with it, Yarowang is on the way, he should be here soon. Sihua sighed. He didn't expect Lin Yi to be this ruthless. In the past, Sihua thought that he was a big shot in Songshan, everyone had to give him face, but after meeting Lin Yi, he realized that he was nothing in Lin Yi's eyes. Lin Yi didn't even look at him. Damn it. Where did this Lin Yi come from? How dare you break my leg? What did my father say? Did you send anyone to deal with him? Chibing really couldn't swallow this. He had just arrived in Songshan, he hadn't even had a chance to get started, but Lin Yi had already shown his power. Not only did Lin Yi topple his skyscraper, he even broke his legs. How was he going to survive in Songshan in the future? If he didn't kill Lin Yi, he wouldn't have the face to stay in Songshan anymore. The head of the house is already investigating Lin Yi's identity. Sihua smiled bitterly. But I heard from Uncle Zhu that Lin Yi's a mystic. I'm afraid he's quite a high position even in the boss place. Mystic class? Lin Yi is a mystic. Zhao Qibing froze. He had fainted earlier, so he didn't know what Uncle Zhu was talking about. Now that he heard the news, he was shocked as well. He didn't ask about Uncle Zhu's injuries because his legs were hurting too. He didn't have the time to care about others. He thought that Uncle Zhu's injuries were caused by a bulldozer or a trenching machine, so he didn't think too much about it. Yes, mystic early phase. At this moment, Uncle Zhu, who had his eyes closed, spoke. Master Bing, Lin Yi is also heavily injured. If he doesn't have any treasures to nourish himself, even if he doesn't die, he won't have any strength left. It depends on what he chooses. Does he want to sacrifice his life to preserve his strength, or does he want to become a normal person? Oh! Does that mean that if Lin Yi doesn't have any treasures to nourish himself, now would be the best time to deal with him? And now that he's injured, he doesn't have the strength of a mystic anymore? Sihua was a cunning man. He understood what Uncle Zhu was trying to say. Haha, his situation isn't much better than mine. Even with treasures and a master like Yarowang to heal him, he'll need at least half a year to recover to his peak, and that's the ideal situation. Uncle Zhu said. In fact, if there's a small mistake, or if there's a lack of treasures, he won't be able to recover so quickly. It's hard to say if he can even recover to his peak. That's great. We'll deal with him before he recovers. He won't be able to fight back. Sihua had wanted to deal with Lin Yi for a long time, but he hadn't found a way. Now that he had this news, how could he let it go? Most importantly, he wanted to avenge Master Bing. It was killing two birds with one stone. Let's wait for the head's decision. Uncle Zhu was a man who followed the orders of the house. Whether or not to deal with Lin Yi was up to Zhao Guangyin. He was just giving some suggestions. Sihua nodded. Indeed, without Guangyin's order, they couldn't proceed with the next step. They could only wait for Yarowang to come. Lin Yi drove the car carefully. The miss had a cold expression on her face, and no one knew what she was thinking. Yu Shu, on the other hand, still had that silly look on her face as she played with her fingers. She didn't seem to notice the strange atmosphere at all. Or maybe she did, but it didn't affect her at all. Yaro sis, are you officially going to pursue Shield Bro? Yu Shu asked after playing with her fingers. Lin Yi sweated. Meng Yaro said this in a low voice to Tang Yun. Although Lin Yi's hearing was good, he could pretend that he didn't hear it. But now that Yu Shu said it out loud, it was a little awkward. The miss wanted to pursue him. Lin Yi didn't believe it. He didn't know what was wrong with her, but Lin Yi didn't think it was a big deal. Meng Yao's expression froze. She glared at Yu Shu angrily. Then, she calmed down and said in a calm tone, Lin Yi, don't listen to Shu's nonsense. I argued with Tang Yun because I was angry. You are my follower, but you got hurt because of Tang Yun. To be honest, I don't like her. That's why I said it on purpose to piss her off. Don't take it seriously. Ha, I know. I didn't take it seriously. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. This was the miss. Meng Yao's eyes flashed with disappointment. She felt a little bitter in her heart. This was the first time she announced that she wanted to pursue a guy, and he didn't take it seriously. Chapter 597. Chapter 597. Disappointed Miss OK. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and nodded. Was Shu that retarded? How could she be caught again? Oh, you can climb the fence next time if you have nothing to do, Yushu added. Lin Yi almost drove the car into a ditch on the side of the road. From now on, if you do anything intimate with Tang Yun, you have to report to me first. Meng Yaro didn't know what she was thinking, but she said this. I don't think that's necessary. I have a private life too. Lin Yi blushed. Of course, Meng Yaro said firmly. What if you want to have sex with Tang Yun and I'm in danger and you can't stop? So you have to report to me first. Sex? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I have to report that too? Of course. One is to monitor your private life. Shu and I are pure people, and if your private life is too dirty, I'll have to consider firing you, Meng Yaro said with a serious face. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. The miss was angry today and Lin Yi didn't want to piss her off. No matter what, he had to agree first. Then Yaro sis, are we still going to have 3P at home? Yushu was disappointed to see Meng Yaro backing out. Play what? Meng Yaro glared at Yushu. Why are you so willing to play? If you want to play, go play by yourself. I can't play by myself, Yushu said, troubled. Yaro sis, you don't keep your words. Alright Shu, let's not talk about this. You're still young and can't play. You can play when you're older, okay? Meng Yaro got a headache from Yushu. Oh, okay. You can play with me when I'm older. Yushu finally smiled. Sure. Meng Yaro was speechless. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly. He really couldn't interfere in this matter. Is Uncle Chu at home? Lin Yi changed the topic because he really didn't know how to participate in the previous conversation. Daddy's treating you to dinner, and you made him wait for more than 10 hours. Meng Yaro pointed out the window. It's almost dawn. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'll explain it to you when we get back. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile. Meng Yaro hemphed. Drive faster, there's still a feast at home. Lin Yi didn't say anything as he sped up the car. Meng Yao's Audi S5 was a sports car, and it was the middle of the night. There weren't any cars on the road, so Lin Yi pushed the car to the limit. Meng Yaro didn't react in time. Yushu, on the other hand, was dancing around. Wow, it's so cool, a roller coaster. Meng Yaro was speechless. Was Yushu lacking in the fear factor? Why didn't she know the meaning of fear? In the blink of an eye, Lin Yi stopped the car in front of Meng Yao's villa. Pengzhan and Forbert ran out when they heard the sound of the car. Uncle Fu and Pengzhan followed him to Fatty Lai's villa, and after waiting for a while, they called Meng Yaro to confirm Lin Yi's condition. Then, they went home to wait. After all, it wasn't appropriate for Pengzhan to wait at Fatty Lai's house. Yi, are you alright? Pengzhan was surprised to see Lin Yi getting down from the driver's seat. Meng Yaro said that Lin Yi's condition was very serious, and he even vomited blood. But now, other than the bloodstain on Lin Yi's shirt, Lin Yi's face was rosy. It didn't look like he was injured at all. If it wasn't for the bloodstain on his shirt, Pengzhan would have thought that Lin Yi wasn't injured at all. Only the bloodstain could prove that something had happened. It's fine, I'm a doctor myself. Lin Yi shrugged. Thank you for your concern, Uncle Chu. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's fine as long as you're fine, Pengzhan said sincerely. I was so worried. Although Elder Lin asked you to help House Chu, if something really happened to you, how would I explain it to Elder Lin? I was too reckless this time. I've caused trouble for Uncle Chu, Lin Yi said embarrassedly. Although Lin Yi said that, he didn't guarantee that it wouldn't happen again. If things went back to before he went to find Zhao Qibing, Lin Yi would still do the same thing. It's fine. The food is ready. It's just a little cold. Let's have a drink to calm you down. At the same time, we'll thank you for saving Yaro and Shu, Pengzhan said. The group entered the villa. Lin Yi took a shower and changed into a casual outfit. Forbert had already heated up the food. Meng Yaro and Yushu sat in the dining room. Pengzhan pulled Lin Yi over when he saw Lin Yi coming out. Meng Yaro sat at the dining table in a daze. She thought back to her abnormal behavior today. Was this still her? She fought with Tang Yun for a man. She even proudly announced that she was going to pursue Lin Yi. How was this possible? This was impossible. She must be dreaming. But Meng Yarrow pinched herself. She realized that she wasn't in a dream. She was in reality. Meng Yarrow blushed as she thought back to what had happened. She was going to pursue Lin Yi. Lin Yi was more likely to pursue her. If he were to pursue her, would she agree? Should she reject him directly or give him a chance? Meng Yarrow was a little excited, but shy at the same time. She didn't know what to do. Today's events had far exceeded the Miss' mental endurance. Everything she'd said and done was completely out of anger, and she didn't think it through. Meng Yarrow blushed as she thought back to it. Yarrow Yarrow, shoo, this is the first drink. You too toast to Lin Yi. Thank him for saving you. Peng Zhan said to the two after sitting down. Oh, okay. Yu Shu raised her drink. Meng Yarrow, on the other hand, was still in a daze. She didn't seem to hear what Peng Zhan said. Yarrow Yarrow? Peng Zhan frowned. What was wrong with his daughter? She had been absent-minded since a while ago. He didn't know what she was thinking about. Ah! Daddy, what's wrong? What's the matter? Meng Yarrow snapped out of her daze and looked at Peng Zhan, not sure what was going on. You and Shu toast to Lin Yi. Thank him for saving you. Peng Zhan repeated himself. It was late, after all. Meng Yarrow hadn't slept the whole night. It was normal for her to be spaced out. Chapter 598. The Miss has something on her mind, Shield Bro. Thank you for saving me and Yarrow Yarrow Sis. If Yarrow Yarrow Sis wants to repay me with her body, I'm fine with it. Yu Shu blinked innocently. Shu, my daddy is here. What are you talking about? Meng Yarrow was shocked. She glared at Yu Shu as if someone stepped on her tail. Yu Shu stuck her tongue out. She'd been joking a lot lately, and hadn't been paying attention today. Meng Yao's reminder reminded her that Peng Zhan was here as well. She'd almost said buy one get one free, that would have been so embarrassing. Ha ha. Peng Zhan smiled faintly but didn't show anything. He said, with Shu at home to liven up the atmosphere, it won't be lonely. Yarrow Yarrow, it's your turn. Lin Yi saved her. How could Meng Yarrow not be grateful? Humans weren't plants or trees, so they couldn't be emotionless. But asking the Miss to toast Lin Yi made her a little embarrassed. She was the one who chased Lin Yi out, didn't she? Although she had reluctantly accepted the fact that he was living with her, wouldn't it mean that she was giving in to him if she toasted him? How could she treat him in the future? However, her daddy was staring at her. Meng Yarrow had no choice but to raise her glass. She didn't toast Lin Yi. Instead, she poured herself a cup and drank it. Thank you. Lin Yi didn't mind. Miss was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. That was her personality. He raised his glass and smiled. It's what I should do. Meng Yarrow wasn't happy looking at Lin Yi's calm face. I'm the Miss, okay? I'm your employer. Why don't you look happy when I'm toasting you? When have I ever toasted another guy? However, she couldn't say it out loud. She could only sulk and list out all of Lin Yi's flaws. She cursed Lin Yi in her heart. Lin Yi, stupid Lin Yi. Can't you treat me a little better? Am I worse than Tang Yun? Even if I'm a little worse than her, what about Yu Shu? The two of us together are not attractive. You just had to go out and flirt with other women. You're really despicable. At first, Meng Yarrow didn't think that she had any feelings for Lin Yi. She thought that she was angry because Lin Yi ignored her and Shu. This was something a proud Miss couldn't tolerate. Why couldn't the two of us compare to Tang Yun? Are you blind or are we really not attractive? Yarrow Yarrow, how's Lil Yi doing in school? He's a transfer school if he can't catch up. You and Shu can help him out. Peng Zhan started chatting casually. Ah! What? Meng Yarrow was cursing Lin Yi in her heart when she saw her father looking at her. It seemed like he was asking her a question, but she didn't hear it clearly. Haha, Yarrow Yarrow, why are you always absent-minded? What are you thinking about? Peng Zhan asked with a smile. Nothing. I'm not thinking about anything. Meng Yarrow blushed. Oh, Uncle Chu, I know what Yarrow Yarrow Sis is thinking about. Yu Shu reached out her hand like a student. Oh. Shu, tell me, what is Yarrow Yarrow thinking about? Peng Zhan was in a good mood today. He smiled and asked Yu Shu. Yarrow Yarrow Sis is thinking about love. Yushu said with a serious face. Thinking about love. Peng Zhan paused and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why is Yaro Yaro thinking about love? Shu. I'll kill you. Meng Yaro didn't want to admit that Yushu had seen through her thoughts, so she was getting angry. Besides, she wasn't thinking about love. She just wanted Lin Yi to pay more attention to her. How could this be considered as thinking about love? Oh, Yaro Yaro sis is murdering someone. Yushu ran away in fear. Ha ha. Peng Zhan was already used to the bickering between the two girls. The two had been fighting since they were young, and Yushu didn't dare to say anything at all. Peng Zhan knew her personality very well. Lin Yi shook his head with a bitter smile. Yushu was always like this no matter what situation she was in. Meng Yaro, naturally, couldn't really get up and chase after Yushu. Yushu had always been this impulsive, so it wasn't a big deal. Meng Yaro, on the other hand, was much more mature. How could she get up and leave when her daddy was still at the banquet? Daddy, don't listen to Shu's nonsense. She's the one who's thinking about love. Meng Yaro was afraid that her father would misunderstand and explained with a blush. Peng Zhan was slightly taken aback. It would have been fine if Meng Yaro didn't explain, but this explanation made Peng Zhan suspicious. This kind of thing, if Yushu was joking, Meng Yaro wouldn't explain it according to her personality. But today, she explained it, and even blushed. This made Peng Zhan feel that something was wrong, but he didn't plan to ask about it at the banquet. He wanted to talk about it in private later. Right, Yi, I heard that one of Zhong Pingliang's kidneys was cut off. What happened? Does it have anything to do with you? Peng Zhan changed the topic to Zhong Pingliang. Zhong Fabai's son losing a kidney was a big deal. Although Zhong Fabai didn't want to announce it, everyone with a bit of background in Songshan had heard about it. They were all sighing in their hearts. What kind of person did Zhong Pingliang offend to be treated this way? No, but this should be done by Jian Wen. Lin Yi told Jian Wen about Zhong Pingliang kidnapping Meng Yaro, and the second day, Zhong Pingliang's kidney was cut off. This was undoubtedly done by Jian Wen. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was why Jian Wen would choose to cut off one of Zhong Pingliang's kidneys. Thinking back to the organ smuggling organization that Ling Shan mentioned a few days ago, and the kidney trafficking organization that he personally destroyed, Lin Yi suspected that Jian Wen had something to do with this organization. Jian Wen? Peng Zhan paused, but nodded. That's possible. Uncle Chu, what's the background of this Jian Wen? He seems to have some connection with your family. Lin Yi asked. Housen used to be a powerful family in Songshan. Their business was very big, and our two families had some business dealings. We have a good relationship. Jian Wen is the youngest son of Housan, and he had a good relationship with Yaro Yaro back then. Peng Zhan said, they were childhood friends. Who's childhood friends with him? Meng Yaro suddenly interrupted, as if she was worried that people would misunderstand.